Hello and welcome back to Blood and Ashes. This is episode 124, where we will cover The Gathering Storm, chapters 36 through 40. I am your host Mo, and I'm joined once again by my double agent friends, Willie.
No, I'm not a fence sitter. I play one way.
Okay, and Jody.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday morning.
Jody is a fence sitter. That's no doubt.
I'm offended.
Well, a double agent is not a fence sitter. A double agent also does play one way, but they pretend to be playing the other way.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Play both ways.
Obviously, no need for me to go too deep into who the double agent is that I'm referring to in the intro here.
It's me.
Jody looks confused, but that's only because Jody is very hungover and having a tough time today.
It's going to be a long recording, guys. For me.
Billy, we're going to need you to bring the energy.
I am well rested, well fed. Garden time aplenty today. I went to the hardware, which is like one of my favorite shops because they got plants at Hammerbar.
Like going to church.
And they've got it was a typical Sunday. Jody, I wish you felt as great as I do.
So do I.
Well, full disclosure, I've got a bit of a headache because I also went out on a date with my wife last night and did overindulge somewhat. So I'm also not 100% here. So, Will, you might have to just carry the show this evening.
I think by the end of the show, I would have convinced you guys that coming over to the dark side is indeed the right choice.
If we've ever been vulnerable, now is the time. I can make all of this go away. You can feel better.
You will feel better.
All eternity.
you have to do is bow to me.
Just say these simple words.
Take this bucket of nails and take this copper roll. And you also have to take this rat and I will take your soul.
Is that the second or the third time that song has made an appearance on the podcast?
I think second or third.
At least the second. Yes.
It's a great song.
I feel like maybe, Jody, what we're doing is subconsciously trying to prepare ourselves for actually being in the same place again for the first time since, before COVID? Like at the time of recording this
6
episode,
years
we're
ago.
planning a camping trip. And I
Jody,
know that we're going to be
2019,
overindulging.
May.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pre-COVID.
May 2019, Sydney. I had long hair and I was skinny. Jody was just skinny.
I was super skinny, eh?
You
Good old
were.
days.
Those old photos, yeah. So that's exciting. All three of us in the same place. We're even toying with the idea of potentially recording a podcast in the same space, which will be an interesting one. And if we do end up going that route, maybe even, I don't know, putting the YouTube video up or something along those lines.
We're going to have to, there's got to be visual evidence that it took place.
Yes, there will have to be.
Yeah.
In the meantime, during our now extended break, for those who are listening along to the show in real time, we have all finished Gathering Storm.
Oh, yes.
We have. Billy's
Yes.
almost finished Towers of Midnight.
Towers of Midnight, I know.
I
He
will,
is flying along.
at this pace, be finished with it at the end of this coming week and going straight into the last battle.
Memory of Light. Wow.
I'm thick into Fire and Blood. I took a break since we skipped an episode. I thought, let me just decompress.
Read
I
something else.
I finished Gathering Storm and then switched. But now I want to go back to Wheel of Time. Billy is going to spoil some shit, unintentionally or intentionally, and he's making me so excited. So I might just go back.
It is exciting, hey?
Why am I fighting it? Why am I denying my true nature?
So many mental notes about people that I'm disliking more and more.
Interesting. Is chief among those Gavin?
Catswain.
No, Catswain's great. I don't have a problem with her.
All right, well, we've
I'm
got a
alone.
bunch of listener contributions on that topic, so let's save that hot debate for that moment. Okay, so one note I wanted to make is I wanted to let Jordan know that now that we've all finished the book, I have shared that Veins of Gold with the accompanying music on our shared folder for the podcast. So if you guys want to go give that a listen, I don't think it's in the next episode. I think we've got 2 more episodes after this one for this book. So maybe we'll talk about it in that last episode for the book. But Jordan, we have that readily at hand, and I will listen to that before or as part of my preparation for that last episode. So it's going to be hard to keep my thoughts focused on just the chapters in this section, as what always happens is when I read ahead, I forget what I've read. Like, does it fall within the window that we're discussing here or not? But at least the book isn't that much longer beyond this, right? Like I said, it's just this episode and 2 more, and then I think we're done.
Yes,
things
there's
sound-
so
It's
much
not just
that's
2 more in
happening.
total. I can't find the spreadsheet now.
It's looking around him
Well-
for a spreadsheet that's on the computer.
I'm looking at my phone. I might be able to find it there.
Our
I'm
next
not
episode,
that
I've got the
hungover.
chapters in this document. The chapters don't cover the final chapters. So
I'm
it's
just
still an
very
episode
pleased.
And then another one, and then we're done.
I'm very pleased to see that Veins of Gold has fallen in my lap like a little egg to cherish.
Little
and-
gift.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, it is lovely. Okay, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's look far in the rearview mirror in everybody's favorite section called Callbacks. All right, Willie, you promised to start this episode by saying in a foreign language, "My butt is itchy."
Oh,
That's
shit.
Oh, on the spot.
My whole yuck.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was prepared for that one.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
what
look,
beautiful language.
I didn't think you were going to remember.
No, I didn't.
No. But okay, let's focus in on some more pertinent topics. Like, I was looking back to see if Mat had sworn the Seanchan oaths, which I'd said I think that he had done. Remember, we said I think Mat had sworn the oaths, just as sort of like you could explain away the reason for doing it. And I found out that when Baeldomen and Egwene arrive at the Wandering Woman and ask for the best rooms from Sitel Anan, she tells them, "My best room is occupied by Captain of the Air, Lord Abildar Yulin, and my second best room by Banner General Furik Karedi," which are now 2 officers in the Seanchan army that we have come to know quite well, which is pretty cool to like look back at that scene like, oh, okay, those named people, I now have like a whole context for them and everything. But in that section, Mat tells Tuon that he swore the oaths when she meets him the first time and offers to buy him from Tylan. So she asks him if he's sworn the oaths, and he says yes. And I think there's a section, what I could find on Reddit posts and stuff, is that Mat justifies it by saying an oath sworn at the end or at the tip of a sword doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
Like that's no oath. That's not a real promise. So he had no issue with swearing the oaths and then chucking them away straight away. Then we had a chat about clogs. So the clogs in I almost said Ibudar, in Bandar Ibn, are they of the more Dutch or Japanese variety? So Cadsuane found, with some effort, a Domani salesman that sold her clogs based on the Terran style. So that's what we find out in this most recent chapter that we read. So I went back to the Dragon Reborn to when Nynaeve and Elaine arrive in Tear for the first time by Windfinder by Seafolk ship. And Nynaeve observes the muddy streets and the clogs that people use to deal with the mud as soon as she arrives there. They're described as wooden platforms tied to the bottom of their shoes and which lift the wearer 2 hands above the mud. So one hand is about 4 inches with 3 hands making up a foot. So the platforms raise them up by about 20 centimeters.
So they're basically walking on little stilts.
Little stilts. So much more like the Japanese gita, Geta, than the Dutch clogs that don't necessarily raise you off the ground at all. So these are far more utilitarian, right? Like they're just supposed to lift you up like stilts out of the mud. So definitely more like that Japanese variety.
I'm going to go and gamble that there was a lot of broken ankles going around at that time in that place.
Apparently, in in Bandar Eben, she struggled to find a clog merchant because the locals don't actually use them that much. They've got those famous quote-unquote boardwalks along the road, but Cadsuane thinks to herself, at some point you have to cross the road, and the locals know where to cross where there's not enough mud, and the people that don't care just cruise around barefoot anyway. So Cadsuane, having to cross the road, thought, I'm going to go find someone that can make clogs like they use in Tyr, and then employ those, which she did. It is also Cadsuane herself that surmises that the Seanchan ships docked in Bandar Eben are likely from the mass escape from Ibudar. So she actually says those words to herself. And anecdotally, the sea folk have not fared well when trying to engage the Seanchan in battle at sea. The Damane are just too strong, numerous, and trained as weapons. Right, so the Damane, there's often more than one on a ship, where the sea folk typically only have one windfinder. The windfinders also tend to use the forces of nature as weapons, so like blowing gales of wind and whipping up the water, using lightning, that sort of stuff, where the Damane are like throwing shields onto the windfinders, throwing actual fireballs at the ships and that sort of stuff as well. So the Damane are much more effective as weapons in open warfare. I feel like I couldn't find a passage, but I feel like the sea folk also thought that they could generally outrun the Seanchan ships, but they would have to make sure that they get outside of the range of the Damane and stuff first. Like it is difficult. If they catch wind of the Seanchan early enough, they can get out of there pretty quickly, but to engage them is futile.
Which makes would the Damane be used to, like the windfinders, creating the wind for them to move their boat, like effectively powering their vessel? Would they be, because they were really focused on battle, or would they have someone that's like the ship engine Damane?
They also crossed the entire Arith Ocean in a huge fleet, so there's probably some measure of that. I doubt whether they have the generations of knowledge and experience passed down from windfinder to windfinder, right? Like the windfinders live out on the ocean for a very, very long time, where the Seanchan crossed from Seanchan to Randland once, right? Like it's not something they do all the time, unless they're doing a lot of sea travel around the continent of Seanchan.
We go and say that no, they don't know that they can actually do that. Control the wind.
You remember when they had Egwene as a Damane, they latched very quickly onto her abilities with earth and like finding the metals and that sort of stuff. So they're not 100% focused on weapon training, but the Damane are that, right? They are through and through a weapon. So I would venture the majority of them are just like fireballs, lightning bolts, shields, like offensive weaves.
Even the Earth's mining thing is to find metal to make weapons. So,
yes.
Make swords and spears.
Who knows? Maybe if there's Damane with particular skills in air, like as we have seen multiple channelers with specific proficiencies in specific flows. If there's Damane that are strong in air, it would make sense for them to at least try that. So you can probably assume, but it's not as institutionalized as the Windfinders, who all focus on that. So I think in an open battle, the Windfinders would have the edge on manipulating the forces of nature to make them get out of there faster, but the Damane would have an edge in one-on-one, or in combat at least. Is my take. Send us your thoughts. The etymology of the word chandler. Because remember, Joe, I think you were the one that said a chandler doesn't just make and sell candles, they do all kinds of other stuff as well. So the original 14th century meaning comes from the old French word chandelier, derived from chandelle, meaning candle. But also in general stores and selling provisions over time, people who made candles also sold related household goods like soap, oil, and paint. And in recent times, ship's chandler, the word most commonly refers to a person or a shop that sells ropes, food, and gear for boats and ships. So yeah, it's definitely morphed into other things. It's not just candles. Then we spoke about the swords that the Seanchan might be using. Were they scimitars? So there's no mention of scimitars anywhere in the books, because I think that would too obviously reference maybe the Saudi Arabian or Middle Eastern countries that sort of favored those types of blades. A lot of talk of curved blades and that sort of thing, except for Turak. Turak's sword is described as a heavy and curved, as heavy and curved on 2 separate occasions. So I feel like in that instance, maybe that is what it was. And I feel like Egwene has also had like a curved blade or something that I think she wears on her back. And when researching swords and what they're used for, apparently sailors, like we've always seen in the pirate ships and stuff, they often use not so much a scimitar but a cutlass, because apparently a curved blade is easier to draw in cramped quarters. Instead of having to pull it out long ways, you can sort of pull it around your body, so you can sheathe and unsheath your sword in the cramped spaces of like fighting on the deck of a ship and that sort of thing. So maybe more like a cutlass than a scimitar, that the most common
in my
short-hand
readings
soldiers
now,
wearing.
I've also come across the Shinarans wear their swords on their back, one sword, but they are two-handed heavy blades, which is sort of your two-handed long sword.
Katana?
No, a
Well, they
katana,
are also
yes.
curved.
Also curved, then that's more like a katana, but you don't wear a katana on your back. You wear that very well on your side.
No, you don't. In fact, a lot of people say that wearing a sword on your back is a bad idea because it's actually much harder to like unsheath it and stuff, right? Like
I'm just wondering if it's the length of the blade that you have to have it. Like having it on your side, the tip will drag.
Yeah, like if the blade is too long.
Because
Yeah.
you've got to put them, unsheath it. Usually blades on backs can't be in a full sheath. It's on like a half sheath.
No, it's like a holster.
Like He-Man.
Leather strap. Like He-Man, yes.
Jody's all about He-Man now.
All right, well, the whole reason we were talking about Chandlers
Yes.
is because we were talking
Skeletor.
about the Chandler's apprentice, Curb, the kid that was found on Nynaeve's little excursion to go find Minister Chadmar and the jailers and all that stuff to find out about King Ulsalam's kidnapping. We had a difference of opinion about whether Curb was slow-witted before he was put under compulsion or if he was in his state because of the compulsion. So I went and I tracked down a couple little tidbits here. So the Chandler's apprentice was called Curb, and he'd been found just a few months earlier. So this is according to that main jailer. Apparently it was lucky because he was already trained in ... But Nynaeve cuts Jorgen off before he can finish that sentence. Now, Jorgen is the jailer, not the Chandler, so I assume he was trained in something more nefarious than candle making. Because it's the jailer going, oh, it was so lucky we found this guy, because he had already maybe poisons or something, because he ends up poisoning Lady Chadmar, right? And also that messenger. Curb tries to escape when Nynaeve and Co go upstairs, right? So they go upstairs and they wake those guys from their bed, and Curb tries to run away. And then he does flee for real when they go down back to the shop and then down into the basement where the cells are. He runs away and then is caught by the men waiting out in the street. So he's pretty compos mentis in those moments. Like he's picking his moment to get away and run away. So that doesn't seem like a dullard necessarily, but maybe it is from just pure fear, right? He had to prepare food with some specific doses of that poison that would act slowly over time, so he had to do that multiple times. And after Nynaeve removes the compulsion from him, he looks different. She notes that he looks different, oddly blank, like a look like that of a person dazed after a strong blow to the head. And then he drools when he opens his mouth. Definitely worse than he was just minutes ago, right? So like Nynaeve has noticed even before the work she did on him, he didn't look like this. And then I went back and I tried to see like what did Elsa look like after Semirog removed the compulsion from her, and she's described exactly the same way. After Semirog removes her compulsion, her eyes dull like she had been struck in the head. So I think Curb was fine before this compulsion thing happened, or at least before the compulsion was removed, because he was probably under compulsion already and planted by Graendal in the first place when they luckily, quote unquote, found this guy who was perfect to assist the jailers. He was already probably under compulsion and put there by Graendal to get information from whatever activity was happening in that jail. Then you guys had a guess at a banner of horse. How many soldiers is that? Willie, you
500.
guessed 500. Excellent. You just backed up your guess. That's your gut feel, obviously. Joe, you guessed 12. But you were obviously
I was going to go
being a bit,
18 this
facetious.
time.
18. Ooh, living on the edge.
Yeah.
It's 1,500 soldiers.
I was closest.
It's 1,500 soldiers. And funnily enough, a banner of footmen is 3,000 soldiers. So obviously in the banner of horse, they're also counting the horses. So like 1,500 soldiers and horses make 3,000.
Or they're
beating
counting
hearts.
the legs on the ground.
No.
Because the horse has 4 legs and the soldiers have 2 legs, therefore doubling the soldiers.
4?
Well, yes, Jody. Duh, this is not Avatar.
You heard it here, folks. Horses have 4 legs.
I know. That upends everything I believed about the natural world.
The world
But anyway.
turned upside down. We were wondering, and I can't remember why, but how many Maidens of the Spear there are in total. And it seems like people estimate them at anything between 30 and 40,000 across all the septs. Joe, I think you guessed 100,000. But that's taking into account the fact that the Maidens of the Spear is the only society that women can go to. So it's not the biggest society, but it is one of the biggest. And it's the one that the only option for women that want to take up the spear. And they sort of average out the numbers based on, clan sizes and the number of maidens that were mentioned from that clan. And they sort of extrapolate. So anything between 30 and 40,000.
Suppose so. A lot more tasks for women in society, in the Yule society, than for men. I assume, like, let's say, blacksmith for the men.
I don't know. I feel like I'm tiptoeing into a minefield here. But sure, go on.
Not to be a
There
minefield.
are more tasks for women because they need to do the work.
No, like more
Have the babies.
to have the babies.
Can't be.
I mean, that was... We've spoken about
There's
this
a
before.
practical
And the
reason,
baby
yeah.
having thing. Because maidens don't have babies, right? Like, if they do have a baby, they either
gotta give
leave
it
the
away.
maidens and become a full-time mother, or they give the babies away, which would be a pretty hard thing to do. So I think that is a pretty significant deterrent.
And the thing is, like, the clan chiefs are also warriors. They remain warriors after they become clan chiefs. But if a maiden becomes a wise one, she has to leave her maidenhood behind. She has to leave her maidenness behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, mean, the men are very occupied with
less
their
maiden.
feuds and fighting and warrior ring things.
Yeah, it fits all the gender stereotypes, right? We don't have
Hey,
to
I didn't write the
relitigate those here.
Let's
No.
bring it all up again.
Nah. I said that I was quoting Rand at one point and couldn't remember when he makes the statement, but it turns out it's in Towers of Midnight where he says to Alana, he says of Alana, "The shadow does not need her to find me, Min, nor will it ever again. All its eyes are fixed directly upon me and will be until I blind them." We were talking about the little dulled knife and Rand being seen by the shadow and that sort of stuff as well. So
The eye of Sauron is on him.
yes, and apparently he's unfazed by it. So then we asked, so when does Avienda give Rand the dull dagger that makes him invisible to the shadow? Firstly, the dagger has a name that we've mentioned on here a couple of times before in the past. It's called Artham. The name is taken from a ritual dagger used in Wiccan and other traditions called Arthame or Athame. It is also spelled Arthame, if less often. It is one of the 4 tools used by a magician and is strictly not used for cutting, hence the blunted blade in the books, and is normally made from iron. And it's Elaine that gives it to Rand shortly before the last battle. So it's right toward the end when he's about to go to Mount Doom. Elaine says, "Oh, by the way, have this cool thing that makes you invisible to the shadow."
And Rand, like, I could have used that information 6 months ago, Elaine. Thank you. Developed a whole new strategy and plan based on this new information. But anyway, it's all worked out in the end.
Or did it, Willie? You don't know.
No, yes, he doesn't know. Maybe they all died.
Well, I can
Yes.
just tell you, if you're going to set me off on a tangent, it's going to be about that woman.
Okay, let's not do tangents yet. Moritz, continue
Okay.
quickly.
All right, let's quickly deflect from me blathering on about all of our missteps into the listeners blathering on about our missteps in listener contributions. First up, Nick sends in his thoughts on the following. He says, "Hi all, hope you are doing well. Nick from the UK writing in again. I'm a couple episodes behind you now as I've been busy with our 3-month-old baby." This is an acceptable excuse, Nick. We will we will pay that one. Don't worry, I'll get him reading ASAP so he can join in. Excellent.
Yes.
Had a couple of thoughts I wanted to share. First, I definitely subscribe to the idea that Tuon's omens are still part of the pattern. While sometimes she may just see something random and inconsequential, she also sees some things that are important for her role in the story, like trusting Mat and later Rand, for example. If you've read or watched his Dark Materials, minor spoilers, it feels like it's the same as how the main character uses the golden compass or alethiometer to answer questions using dust, but another character uses a completely different method of dropping sticks to get similar answers. Have you guys read his Dark Materials books?
No, I just watched the movies.
I watched the TV show.
Did you show? There was a show and there was a movie. The Golden Compass, I think, is the movie
Golden Compass
based on the
is
books,
the movie.
and then there was a show as well on
the TV
Prime
show.
or something. Was it any good?
I stopped watching it, so no.
So
Maybe it was good and I just didn't enjoy it, but whatever.
People love the books, so I don't know. Maybe that's something we should look into. Nick continues, I imagine that in Randland, if a character believes they need to see a certain sign before they act, the pattern would make that sign happen at the right time. That tracks. On the subject of Brando Sando taking over, on my first read, I didn't notice too much changing, but I can absolutely see the points you are making about Avienda and Mat especially. The only thing I have a gripe with is the end of Paden Fane's story, which personally felt anticlimactic. But we can talk about that more when we get to it. Keep up the good work. All the best, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
And congratulations on the baby.
Yes. And Godspeed.
Yes. How's the not sleeping going?
How's the feeling totally spare while the mother provides the child with everything it needs?
You guys make out of it so bad. It is fantastic. It's just
It is fantastic.
It is great. It's
It
not
is-
hard
it
work
is
at
lovely
all.
and rewarding
It's-
and amazing.
No.
No. It's hard work. It's hard work, but it is also the most rewarding thing in the world.
It is.
I was just going to say on his Dark Materials, dust and sticks and omens and pattern stuff, I do like that. I also think 100% since we spoke about it, I don't think I'd really thought about it much, but since you guys mentioned it last time, I think it is absolutely the pattern making the omens appear to Tuon at the times that she needs to see them, like when she needs to trust Mat and that sort of stuff. And then on Paden Fane, I'm also kind of dreading it. Like, Fane is such a cool antagonist. Like, I like reading about him, no matter like how unlikable he is. He's still an interesting character, and I also do remember his end being a bit anticlimactic. So,
Yes.
I'm a bit apprehensive about getting there.
There's too many
I
characters in this
don't
book.
care
That's the
whether
problem.
he chokes to death on a potato or falls off a step and breaks his neck. It doesn't matter. The good thing will be that he's dead.
Well, this
I mean-
coming from a dark friend. He's one of your inkling.
No, he's not. He's gone
Well,
rogue.
he's rebelled against the shadow as
He's
well.
rebelled against the shadow. He's not in line.
You should be living up
He's
to that.
gotten some ancient tools. He's refusing to share it. He's stabbing my fades in the eyes. No, thank you.
My fades.
I'd forgotten about Fane completely. When I was preparing the chapter allocations for the next book, I was going through the prologue to see how it's broken up between characters, and I was like, oh, Paden Fane. I forgot about him. There he is. So, yeah.
All right.
Popping up soon in Towers of Midnight. Thanks again, Nick. Keep them coming. Then, okay. Scott Wilson comes in with an all-time record of 2 text messages and 4 voice notes. And that's after his first voice note was too soft to use, actually. So there were actually 5 of them. So I'll do the text message first, and then we'll go through the voice notes. And luckily, the voice notes aren't all full length, so it's not going to be too tedious. But there were a couple of points that Scott wanted to raise via message, and his introduction to that goes like this. When I'd asked him about the first voice note I couldn't make out, he said, my first voice note was about the discussion you were having about Cadswain. I'm on Team Jody, not a fan of hers. She has good intentions, but she is so arrogant, thinks she is always right. All Aes Sedai are like that, but she takes it to a new level. Pause there. Yes, we've discussed this multiple times. She almost epitomizes that Aes Sedai self-righteous haughtiness and dials it up to 11, right? Like, we use her as like the personification of Aes Sedai.
Your Honor,
Villain.
I'd like to take this moment
Yes.
to say, put
please.
a pin in this opinion, Scott, Moritz, and Jody. Later on in my chapters, we will address Cat Swain. So I want to
Okay.
circle back to Cat Swain,
Okay.
and we'll get
Cool.
there.
Yay.
Excellent. Love it. Scott continues to say that I did like her taking Semirog down a peg, but she criticized Nynaeve for not making sure that the sad bracelets were disposed of, and then she kept them herself. I enjoyed how Rand calmly told her, if I see your face again, I'll kill you. Love the show. Thanks. P.S. I, like Vil, haven't read any of Brandon's other books. I agree with him on my first read of these last 3 books. I don't remember seeing that much difference. This time, I'm enjoying the conversation about the writing styles and their differences. I'd love to know which chapters Robert had more of a hand in. Cheers. Yeah, that would be great. Maybe one day we get information on that. Is it mentioned at all, Jody? You read that other book, and did you as well, Vil, that the more recent one that was written by someone else about Robert Jordan and the writing of the Wheel of Time?
Yes,
What
the
was that
world
called
of
again?
the Wheel of Time. Where is it?
No, not the big white book. That's the
No,
world
no,
of the Wheel of
it's
Time.
it's the. Where is my book now? It's not the world of Wheel of Time.
It's called something.
Mm.
Joe's gonna get it.
Mine is
Yeah,
in
move
the
those
lounge.
limbs, Jody. Work that alcohol out of your system with physical effort.
He might not
He
come
can't hear
back.
any of this because he took his headphones off.
The origins of the Wheel of Time. Michael
The
Livingston.
origins of the
the
Wheel of Time.
origins.
I knew it was an O word. Yeah. Does it say
No.
anything in there about like? Thanks.
There it is.
Great.
I have not read it. You want me to look up some shit while we're here? You guys carry on talking.
No, I'll put a pin in it and see if we can add it to a callback. See if Maria at some point sort of like tipped her hand and showed which chapters in the final books Robert Jordan still had written as is. All right, so that concludes the text section of Scott's messaging, at least the first part. So now let's switch over to an audio format and listen to some of Scott's voice notes. And the first one goes like this.
In episode 120, you were talking about Berlane and her pursuit of Perrin. And what I remember was that early on after the captivity, Berlane went to Perrin and told him that she was going to put it on pause until they were able to get Fael back. So I think that's what the answer is. But I don't believe that after that she continued to pursue Perrin. And I think that you might be right about how she saw how dedicated Perrin was, that it was probably a lost battle, and she just let it go after that. It's Scott Wilson here, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.
Cool. Yes. I mean, I don't remember the specific conversation, but I feel like that is the gist of what we sort of landed on as well, right? Like when the capture happened, she dialed it back, and when she saw how single-minded and dedicated Perrin was, she knew there was no way. Because it's pretty soon after that, I think Perrin starts smelling that she's not trying to trick him or, playing coy or anything. She's just like playing determined, and she almost seemed to like inherit some of Perrin's drive to find Fael. Like Berlane was actually quite
Hi guys,
supportive
Scott Wilson
and,
here.
and
I
instrumental.
hope this
in that
message
whole
finds
process,
you all
which is
well.
Really cool. Just
It's
really
a
supportive of
Thursday
Berlin's efforts
evening
rather than
here in
a distraction.
sunny North
I
Carolina,
bite my lips.
and I had a question for
Oh
Billy.
yeah, please.
Jody
his face.
is suffering.
I was just
enough
reading
today.
chapter 25,
He doesn't
and
keep
I was
suffering.
wondering,
any more suffering.
why would anyone want to
All
be a
right, let's
dark
listen to
friend?
Scott's next message,
Because-
which goes like this.
Sheriam got beaten, and now they want to cut her fingers and toes off if she can't find well-guarded Tangreal in 3 days. That is not very much incentive to be a dark friend. So I just don't really get it. But you have a nice day. Bye.
Very cordial way to end a message to a dark friend. Thanks, Scott. Vil, the floor is yours.
The failures are being highlighted because that's when the outing comes. But behind the scenes, while you're in the shadows, the club memberships are discounted, things are cheap, the entertainment's off the charts. There's perks to coming over to the dark side. But you're expected to perform, though. Just always remember that fingers can get lost.
There you go, Scott. More appealing now? I don't know.
It's for the staff discounts. That's why you should do it.
Yes. For the penny
And no,
pinchers
your
out
message did not find me well, Scott. Sorry to say.
there. Found Jody quite unwell. All right, we've got another 2 to get through here. So let's move on to Scott's next message. And it goes like this.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Scott Wilson here again. I was listening to you speak about Gawain, and I agree that he is gotten to be a bit of a bad character. But I think one of the reasons why he comes off so bad is because in the beginning, when he first met Rand, he seemed like he was a really good guy, and it was Galad that we were looking at as possibly being the person that we weren't really going to like. And as the things went on, they became kind of switched out. And I think at the end, we liked Galad and what happens with him. And the Gawain thing just kept getting worse and worse. And I think Brandon kind of took it over the top a little bit. But that's about all I had to say. So you guys have a good day. Bye.
Fucking Gawain.
I have opinions. I have very, very strong opinions about those siblings. Not Gawain and Galad. Gawain and his sister Elaine. Spoiled.
I love
little
Galad. I'm on the record now as having switched on them.
rats. Absolute me, my wants, my needs. I was raised in a palace. My mommy is the queen. I want what I want. Where? That's where I'm at the moment with that brat.
Well put, Willie. Very succinct. That's what Robert Jordan and Sanderson took 12 books to write. Willie just
Wow.
throws it down in one sentence.
Yeah.
You're
Accurate.
right. Me, wah.
I have been a bit of a Gawain defender on this podcast thus far, but I am running out of excuses for him. And like I just said before, and many times before, Galad has not set a foot wrong in these books. It's crazy to me to read him like this and not like, oh, wait, he's actually just been great the whole time. Which, yeah, again, shoots him up the list of characters that I've enjoyed this time around.
Very
All right.
strong, pragmatic man that listens to good advice is where I'm at with Galad at the moment.
And also, I hate to be that basic bitch, but like also dominates with a sword, right? Like he's just such a good fighter, which unfortunately is an easy way for me to make you like you. Okay, final message here from Scott. It goes like this.
Hi guys, Scott Wilson again. Just a quick note. I heard you talking about Rizal, and I believe she was not Talon's maid. She was one of Talon's ladies in waiting. I'm pretty sure she was the Lady Rizal. I may be wrong, but that's just the way I remember it. Have a good day. Bye.
Probably.
Uh-huh.
I imagined her as like a, like more like a servant, but she did have a lot of free time, she was like helping Oliver with his reading and stuff, and Mary's
partaking in the
old mate,
masks when they've got the event or something. Like,
yes, in the costumes and stuff. She had a particularly revealing costume or something because of her obvious physical attributes that Robert Jordan described many, many times. But this makes a lot more sense for a Seanchan officer to marry a lady in waiting more so than like a first maid or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think because it ties into Matt's character arc, there's always a servant lady in the pub that's got his eye, or in the tavern. So that's maybe why the water
in that
gets a bit
stretch,
muddied.
wasn't it Satal's daughter? Was it someone at the Wandering Woman, like he was sort of half flirting with and hooking up with? But yeah, that is more a Matt trick. All right, those are the voice notes from Scott, and then there was another little bonus text note from Scott once again saying, "Good day, Mo, gents. Just a few thoughts now. I finally caught up with you guys. Moville was right. Amis was the last person to sneak up on Avienda. Three people did so. First Melaine, then Amis, and then finally Min. And then a thought I had. Do you think Hinderstap and Mat's planning before meeting Verin was 1, to spice up the story, or 2, to make Mat a bit of his own character? Remember Matt's like crazy elaborate plans that he was making.
It's fantastic. It is so good afterwards. I just love it. I had zero problems with that stretch, and the how it played out with like being character and like I can't be this character because I'm an honorable man. Fucking the best.
Then, Vil, I actually think you should read some of Brandon Sanderson's other books, because Brandon does like writing a lovable rapscallion, right? He's very good at it, like writing this sort of like quippy, self-effacing, sort of sometimes a bit silly lead character. It's actually super recognizable as a Brandon Sanderson character to me anyway. So if I had to lean one way between spicing up the story and building Matt's character, I think it leans more towards the characterization. We've seen Matt sort of like in battle quite a lot in his last 2 books, so it's a welcome bit of comic relief for Matt, and it gives Brandon a chance to put sort of his own stamp on Matt as well. So I think it's more of a characterization thing. Then Scott also says, P.S. Why are Aes Sedai tying people up with their own clothes when they can use air? And how did they feel in danger enough to use fireballs when they could have done what Nynaeve did with the torturers? My favorite moment, by the way, which was my favorite moment, by the way, she has really grown. So I think Scott's talking about like when they're in Hinderstap, right? And they're in the inn upstairs throwing fireballs down. They've tied up the servants, those girls that they took with them that also disappeared the next morning. They had tied them up with bits of, I think, Jolene's gown, right? Like she was in a gown or like had to strip some of her clothes, like tear it into strips to tie them up. And quite right. Like Nynaeve just waltzes into that building and is like trussing up men with flows of air like it's nothing, and just cruising around.
I've answered for
Why
that.
don't Jolene and Teslin and Edicina use
Because
those other
they
things?
are not skilled enough to divide their weaves to that extent, or they don't,
Maybe they don't know how to tie
do it
one
and
off.
tie it off.
I had that thought as well.
So I'm going to put
Yeah.
it straight down to skill level in the power.
Yeah.
I'm putting
and maybe
it down
even
to
strength.
Yeah, strength. No, I think they just wanted to get her out of her dress so Matt can have a quirky little comment about it. And, we could have that little moment with Matt. How else would she be in with no clothes when he arrived?
And how about the fireballs? Like, I think they felt in danger enough to use the power as a weapon, right? Like we'd called out that they could have just made a wall of air, right? And just keep all those people behind the wall of air. It's because once you've made the wall, you don't have to use physical strength to hold it up, right? Like it's immovable and they can do nothing about it. So yeah, don't know why they did that, but I think all those things, Joe. My first thing was maybe they also don't know how to tie it off, because these are 3 old school Aes Sedai here: Teslin, Jolene, and Edicina. Then Scott's last note is, hi again, forgot one thing. I like the way Brandon is using the colors to fix the timeline. Yeah, nifty little trick.
Super handy. I wish we had that earlier on in the books. So many episodes discussing confusing timelines.
As this is going, and there's a lot of it coming, there's not major events to tie things up to where they are, and there's vast time jumps between character arc stories. So it does help. It becomes a method of tying up why this one is there, where one is when the other one is,
Yeah, totally. And it becomes increasingly important now toward the end as Brandon sort of like just turns up the speed, right? Like things are happening. We've seen time jumps before as well.
Speed is cranked up big time.
Yeah, it's flat out now. Beautiful, Scott. That was obviously a longer break, so you had more time, but there was a lot of material, so thanks for that. Keep them coming. Next up to the plate is Chris Green, reminding us, just in case we forgot, howdy, probably too late to get this on the chapter 31-35 episode, but I wanted to chime in on the Gavin bashing. I think Chris is playing along with our choice to just keep calling him Gavin instead of Gowan.
Okay.
I know you all touched on it briefly in episode 122, but Gavin has been dead set on this idea of Rand killing Morgay since the prologue of Lord of Chaos. He hears from some buffoonish traveling peddler that, quote-unquote, everyone thinks the dragon killed her. This is from the man that on that same page boasted that he could smell an Aiel despite being surrounded by them. Old Mill, if you'll recall was his name, had zero credibility. It was communicated to the reader almost immediately, and Gavin based his entire personality around this bit of misinformation for going on 7 books now. It's maddening. Thanks, y'all. Can't wait for the next episode. I mean,
Is this a social commentary on like social media? You know, you saw a TikTok, and now that's who you are.
Yes.
I was just going to pipe up, Jody, that this is so relevant in today's climate
So relevant
that
today.
someone will just see one thing, and I am angry now for the rest of my life. Oh, Footfeld in jail and whatever the rest.
And what we were talking about, like Elida and the Red Aja and her madness and running the tower, how relevant all of that is today. Like this book is, it must have been written by
Prescient.
men. It's
Yeah.
everything's coming true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Chris, yes, I know. It is maddening. Yes. Terrible, terrible source of information, Old Mill. Okay, now, Mr. Dependable Ian Yellen writes in with his own take on Mat's elaborate plans. You mentioned that the humor around Mat's plan to enter the town of Trastair was off, and I agree, as it turned Mat more into a caricature. So Ian, more with me, sort of taken aback by that approach a little bit. In this case, Sanderson turned Mat into Tom Sawyer. For those that don't know, Tom Sawyer is a character created by Mark Twain along with Huckleberry Finn. Sawyer is much more known for his fence whitewashing scam, but he was also known for creating way too elaborate plans as they fit with some imaginative and childlike game of pretend, and Mat's plan reeked of a Sawyer plan. That tracks with my experience of Mat's whole performance there as well. It's almost whimsical, you know, like it is such comic relief that it's almost removed from the reality of the story. It is, I think, purposefully done to, like I said, give us a little bit of a break from the bad.
I think the jump is when the last time that he's with Tuon and she's watching him and he's like leading his men and she goes, "Who is this man?" Like we had been shown peak Mat of what he is capable of, and then only a few chapters later of Mat chapters, he's a buffoon making Tom Sawyer plans. And that was, like, to me as well, I laughed at all those plans, but it was a bit distracting. It was a bit,
That's where I land as well.
Yeah.
You used enlightening wrong.
Did I? I don't remember what I said, so it's all right. I'll just believe you.
Ian continues with, in the up-and-coming chapter 38, where Egwene complains about being in a prison cell just tall enough to not be able to stand erect or just short enough to not lay out fully, Egwene compares her experience with Rand's time in the box. And as you pointed out, all the suffering he has been put through, I still find it amazing that the Aes Sedai, even the really good ones, just don't get what they have put Rand through. I mean, it's true. It's incredibly frustrating for us as readers, and it's maybe just another way that Robert Jordan is showing us how blind the Aes Sedai are in that specific spot. I mean, they've got a couple of different blind spots, you know, like keeping the novices really young.
Lots
and, you know,
of blind spots.
Yeah,
yes.
and women that can channel among the sea folk and the Aiel and that sort of stuff. And the way that they've interpreted the Carathon cycle, they do have lots of blind spots. And this is just another one. They cannot even fathom, most of them can't fathom that they have done anything wrong. It just doesn't compute. So it doesn't come up.
Only one realizes this, and that's Verin.
Yes.
In my chapter.
Yes. I think she laments the amount of pain and suffering that they've put on Rand's shoulders, I think, or the words, something along those lines. Yeah. Just blind to their own failures. The one exception I thought of as well, other than Verin, who quite literally calls it out here, was Moiraine. I think Rand even thinks about it in some upcoming chapters, like when he's thinking about Moiraine, or he did recently, like he's more, maybe it's when he's going through his list and he's thinking about her because her name is always first. He does miss her. He wishes like she was still around, and she's an Aes Sedai, right? So like that's a pretty big call. And I think their relationship obviously changed over time, like from when she met him in the Two Rivers and was knowing everything to pretty much after Folmay leading into Dragon Reborn, and certainly after the Dragon Reborn, she had to sort of take a step back and let Rand take the lead, but she was there to help guide him and sort of set him free in the world, to let him help fulfill all the prophecies and all that stuff. But she, while having a contentious relationship with Rand at times, has proven by Rand to actually be okay in his books.
Yeah, but also she disappeared from the picture early on. There's the box and Do Might Wells, that's all book 6, and she was gone by book 4, was it?
Yeah.
Shadow Rising, she was there. So she wasn't party to any of the emotional damage that they've done to him, and physical.
The further damage, yeah.
So she wouldn't have known about that.
Yeah. Anyway, says Ian, have fun. I just finished the reread of the book and my favorite Catswine moment is coming up, and it involves Tam and some truth to power speech. Yes, Ian, having just read the rest of the book, I know what you're referring to, and it is going to be great. Thanks for that. Keep being Mr. Dependable. Then, another returning champ, Levi Wagner, is back with a question. Rand has been labelled as Emo Rand during this stretch, but on the reread, emo does not feel like a dark enough genre of music. What should Rand really be labelled as? Death metal Rand? Sanderson does a good job of writing characters going through tough times, and I think he nailed how bad it has gotten for Rand and how close he is to ending it all. I agree with that second part. Brandon is definitely... I feel like Brandon's characters are a bit more exaggerated, and that certainly applies here as well, where Rand is really, really dark, and Brandon is doing a good job with that. What genre of music? I mean...
Goth is goth.
Yeah. Death metal, I feel like death and the themes of death are too natural. Like, it has to be something a bit more...
You need this kind of like nihilistic approach.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Everything's fucked anyway. What difference does it make?
There's no point. It's all futile.
There's a band called Skinny Puppy that does this industrial metal. Sort of take 9 Inch Nails and amp it up quite a bit. There's a very old album. I can't remember, The Process, I think it's one of the songs on there. That is the Rand genre that is in. It is dark.
Okay.
All right. Put that music video in the Discord so we can all in this episode.
No one is scared the children.
Puppy.
That's
your homework.
There you go, Levi. You've got your answer. All right, that's it from me and the listeners. Now, one little bit of housekeeping before we get stuck into tonight's chapters, and that is previously on Blood and Ashes. In Bandar Eben, Cadswain meets with Kulin Tazil, an innkeeper and trusted informant about the news and goings-on in the city. Specifically, she is looking for clues to the whereabouts of King Alsalam. On her way out, she encounters Rand, but just covers her face rather than flee his presence. She thinks he didn't see her. She then goes on to find the Wise Ones and asks if they will join her in her efforts to make Rand laugh again. We switch to Rand and see that he did in fact recognize Cadswain, even without seeing her face. He notices Cadswain scuttling away from him as he heads to the docks to personally check on food distribution. Naif tells him the Seanchan are unlikely to accept Qatar as a neutral meeting place, so Rand sends him back to tell the Seanchan he'll meet them in Folmay. Nynaeve soon rides up, and as they are leaving, she asks what he decided. They argue about the decision and end up talking about Lan. Nynaeve admits under pressure that Lan is in Saldea, though she made sure that he would have an army, whether he wanted one or not. After they reach House Chadmar's mansion, Rand goes into the throne room, and Ruach soon arrives and informs him that Alamindra Kutrin was found and captured, but Mishan Dubrais is dead. These are all members of the Merchant Council that can vote in a new king. Minister Chadmar is soon motioned forward, and she tells Rand that the messenger that was sent to her by the king is dead. Rand punishes her by locking her in the same dungeons that the messenger was locked in. Nynaeve argues the wisdom of only focusing on the last battle, and Rand grows angry with her, but forces himself to be calm. He thinks to himself that there's only a short while longer, and that he must keep things balanced. Later in the middle of the night, Nynaeve stands on the walls of Bandar Eben along with Maurice Carell and Cadswain to see the infamous ghost ghost procession that has circled the city every night since Rand arrived. When Nynaeve shows a bit more sense than the other Aes Sedai present, Catswain gives her an actual nod of approval, and after they watch the procession for a bit, she heads off into the city. Upon arriving at the mansion, she takes a few of the soldiers not on duty and sends for the Dosan. She questions the Dosan, Laurel, on where the messenger from the king was sent, and has her lead herself and the soldiers to the place. Inside the shop the Dosan leads her to, they capture several men, one of whom confesses the location of the trapdoor that leads to the dungeon. They enter the dungeon and in the second cell find Millicent Chadmar. Nynaeve heals her of the poison she finds in her while delving her and proceeds to question the jailers about how the messenger died. She believes the jailers' claims that he died naturally and continues to ask who prepared the prisoner's food. She finds out that this was an apprentice named Curb and rushes out into the street only to find him held down by the men she had brought from the mansion. Back at the mansion, Rand enters the sitting room after Nynaeve had sent the maidens to wake him. He asks who Curb is, and Nynaeve explains her suspicion that he poisoned the messenger and that he had poisoned Millicent Chadmar. She also mentions that she felt a block of some sort in his mind when she delved him. Rand suspects that it is compulsion, and after questioning Curb, he confirms. He gives Nynaeve basic instructions on how to remove it, and almost an hour later she finishes. Curb seems to go blank, and Rand demands he tell him where Graendal is, and Curb manages to whisper Natrin's Barrow before dying. Nynaeve is very upset by this and argues about the consequences of fighting this way. Rand's argument is that this is the only way he can win. He appreciates her care of him and trusts her, but he thinks he knows better and what he must do. Nynaeve is left unable to find the words to argue, and Rand carries Min to their bedroom. After the doom and gloom of Darth Rand, we join Mat as he studies the maps of the area around Trastair and plans a rescue in case of an emergency. Tom is to have several soldiers as apprentices during the trip into town, and Mat helps them fabricate overly elaborate stories. They soon head out into camp, and Mat goes to check on Eludra. Egwene and Bale are with her, and Bale acting as Egwene's bodyguard. He asks after the dragons, and they discuss the supply requirements. The numbers are staggering, and Mat himself couldn't afford them, though he hopes that Rand will be able to help them. After some debating, Olva arrives saying that someone is in camp and that Mat needs to come with him. After a few questions, Mat follows Olva and discovers that the newcomers are Verin and her warder Thomas. Mat surmises that she has the knowledge of travelling, and she admits that she does. They head off to discuss the terms of transporting them to Andor. Then back to Rand, who arrives in Falme for his meeting with the daughter of the Nine Moons. He's accompanied by Nynaeve, Corell, Narishma Flynn, three wise ones, and unspecified others. Rand reminisces about the Battle of Falme and notes that Rand the sheepherder had died at Falme, and Rand the Dragon Reborn had risen from his ashes. He and Nynaeve discuss the battle with High Lord Turak, something Rand realizes he had never spoken of with anyone. Tuon awaits their meeting on a pavilion surrounded by hundreds of Damana and Suldam. Rand preemptively seizes Saidin through the Kuden Kol access key as a precaution against an attack or an attempt to shield him. He then sees Tuon for the first time, noting how young she is. We switch to her point of view, and Tuon notes that Rand does not look as old as she had thought. Tuon thinks of how she had still not declared herself the Empress, as this would have required that she be seated above the Dragon Reborn. The Seanchan are visibly uncomfortable at the presence of unleashed channelers. Tuon notices in the sky a flash of lightning between two clouds, an omen meaning tread very lightly and be careful what you speak. Rand immediately demands that a peace be declared so that the forces of humanity can fight united against the Shadow instead of among themselves. Tuon thinks of the Seanchan's own prophecies, which state that humanity must be united under the Seanchan before fighting the Shadow, and that the Empress herself will send the Dragon Reborn to fight the Dark One. Tuon tells Rand that the return intended to find the Westlands united and surrender to the Seanchan for the last battle. Instead, they found a fractured land squabbling like children. Rand rebuts that he has united much of the land and that an alliance need only last as long as he is alive, which he assures Tuon will not be for long. Tuon then suggests that if Rand sees the value of a united humanity, he should also be amenable to his people taking oaths to the Seanchan and seeing their channelers leashed. Rand then grows forceful, saying he will not see another channeler leashed. Tuon then turns the discussion to Mat, and Rand and Nynaeve are shocked that Tuon even knows Mat. Rand then realized that it was Tuon he had seen in the color swirls. Tuon casually insults Mat, and Nynaeve rebukes her, saying Mat is a brave and selfless hero, albeit a bit of a carouser, and Rand defends him as well. Rand begins the discussion of a treaty again, demanding it of Tuon, but she finds it harder to resist Rand and observes the chapter's titular halo of darkness around Rand, and we are left to assume he is attempting to exert his Ta'veren effect. Tuon manages to resist, and Rand storms off. Tuon, in this moment, decides that she cannot allow Rand, a madman, to grow any more powerful. She orders the strike on Tar Valon to proceed. Which brings us to tonight's first chapter, chapter 36, called The Death of Tuon. Joe, please put to death our boredom and give us a recap.
It's a very simple chapter. Rand, after that meeting, after he stormed away, goes, fuck it, I'm the Dragon Reborn. Goes back, murders Tuon in her sleep. Hence the name of the chapter.
The
end. Thank you all for coming. Actually, this chapter starts with Verin. Little bit of a side quest going here. Verin starts telling Mat how she got to him. As Moritz just highlighted in the recap, she's in the tent with him there, sitting in his best chair, and forcing him to sit on a piece of shit bench. Mandevwin, Telmanes, and Tom are also there in the tent. Mat can't really remember her too well. After the whole memories thing, it's all blurry, but he did meet her. But he did recall her being a typical brown Aja, distracted and scholarly. However, this time he sees through her act, and she knows he sees through it, but keeps acting anyway. She was in Tyr, heading to Tar Valon, until his Tavirinness interfered. They talk a bit about Tavirinness, which leads to Rand. Mat wants to know if his friend has gone mad. Verin's like, yep, he's pretty mad.
No
And
idea.
puts the blame of that, at least partially, on herself and the Aes Sedai. So I forgot about this because I wrote this middle of the week. I was actually referring to her conversation with Egwene. But yeah, she again mentions how it's their fault and her fault that Rand is so messed up. This is also where she drops the bombshell news that Rand has cleansed Saidin, so there'll be no more mad men running about because of the taint. The bench is very uncomfortable. There's a lot of talk in this chapter about the bench, more of that Sanderson humor. He's constantly fidgeting, but that makes it look like he's squirming in front of the Aes Sedai, which he is not. It's just so. I think the bench there is to make the whole squirming thing a bit of a joke. But anyway, back to Verin's story. She had stayed in an inn in Tyr, learning her surroundings so that she could open a gateway and travel from there in the morning, but she kept on being interrupted and then moved by the innkeeper to another room and before she could get familiar with her surroundings. So she never had the opportunity to travel to Tar Valon. And this happened multiple times, and when she refused to move again, the inn burned down. So everything was working against her. The universe was against her, literally. So they moved to another village, but again, more interruptions, and for 3 days this carried on. Always something preventing her from learning her surroundings to open a gateway to Tar Valon. So when they gave up on the idea of traveling, with a big capital T, her and Thomas, she was suddenly left alone. Then nothing interrupted her, no inns burning down. Then she felt something tugging on her. So she booked a wagon with a merchant train heading north towards Cairhien. And she was so exhausted from the 3 days of interruptions and interrupted sleep that she passed out. Thomas also conveniently passed out. When they woke up, they had taken a wrong turn towards Murrendy, for her a wrong turn, but the merchant had heard that he could get better, deals for his stuff, and had forgotten to let them know. And he was like, yeah, actually, come to think of it, I should have woken you up and told you about this. Yep. But he had completely forgotten. Eventually, her and Thomas decided to test this pulling theory and not allow it to guide them, so to fight it and see what happens. So they used skimming instead of traveling, but when the destination gateway opened, they were not in Tar Valon, but in Trastair. Thomas had been telling her about a memorable hunting trip he had been on in Trastair when she was opening the gateway, and she must have confused the destination in her head, and all of this reads like absolute bullshit to me.
Super nice.
Mat calls it coincidence. I call it bullshit. That she ended up in his path. But Verin explains that's how Tavirinness works. Coincidence. It is actually the mechanism by which it works. Like, yeah, suppose you have a point. But that doesn't explain why it had to be her that found Mat. Rand has Ashaman scouring little villages, just like Trastair, for men who can channel. They're everywhere, all over the country. It's far more likely that one of them could have found Mat and opened a gateway for him. But why her specifically? She pulls out the wanted posters of him and Perrin. She tells him a story of how a dark friend, mistaking her for a fellow dark friend, I mean, how ridiculous, gave them to her, saying one of the Forsaken has ordered them killed. Mat's like, meh, dark friend's been trying to kill me for years. Verin agrees to send him and the band to Camelin by gateway on one condition. And she hands him a sealed note. These Aes Sedai love handing people sealed notes that they're not supposed to read until a certain time.
Yeah.
He's only supposed to open that 10 days after she has left him in Camelin. Mat goes, nope, no thanks. And he's like, she's like, oh my God, I forgot how difficult you were to deal with. So he's like, no deal. And he gets up to leave. He's just going to leave it. And she was like, all right, come back. Because he's like, I will not have Aes Sedai strings attached to him. She won't tell him the contents of the letter either, because he may not need to go through with the instructions therein. So her hope is to return to him soon enough to be able to take back the letter, but in case she can't, then he must open the letter and do what it says. Mat's still not on board, so she proposes then that he can burn the letter, but in that case he must wait 50 days in Camelin for her return. He haggles her to 20, she counters with 30, and that's what they eventually settle on. Mat needs some time anyway to get Eludris dragons into production, and he needs to study up on the Tower of Genje. So he agrees. It's like, look, 30 days, I can deal with that, because it's a 20-day march if he had gone by himself. So it's only an extra 10 days, and he needs the time in Camelin to do all these other things anyway. So Mat gives orders to Mandevwin to break camp and get Verin her own tent, also to tell the other Aes Sedai with him that she's there, and burn this piece of shit bench. Over to Tuon, or should I say, for Tuona Athame Devi Pendrag. Tuon is dead now. May the Empress live forever. She is blessing the Bloodknives with their Ta'angriel rings that will grant them speed and strength and shroud them in darkness, allowing them to blend into the shadows and also make them die. She says the blessing is, may your death bring victory, may your knife draw blood, may your children sing your praises until the final dawn. Behind them are 200 members of the Fists of Heaven, as well as 50 Suldam and Damane pairs, along with hundreds of Toregen. Last is General Yulan. He was just there in Ibudar the other day, leading the mission personally. He promises not to fail. Well, yeah, that's the whole point. And in return is told by Selusha, as she is the voice, that the Empress had seen 3 rose petals drop in the garden, which obviously means that they're going to win, because it's an omen. What else could that possibly represent? So no, it's a question, guys. What could it represent?
It's the rose dying and it's dropping its petals in the wind.
Yes. That the soil is a little bit
I'm going to
too
take a call
dry.
back and see if there is something, if there is more symbolism there. Do the Seanchan win? I mean, do they come out on top in that
Symbology. We don't know yet. Where the hell am I in my notes? Oh, yes. So this is a mission like no other before it. Never have they used Toregen to attack from the sky, which I thought, what? That's ridiculous. Would have been the first thing I did. Always transport troops, and then for the troops to do the fighting on the ground, and it's always like a forward advance team used as part of a bigger attack, but never just Toregen on its own with channelers on their backs throwing fireballs.
Yeah, but usually would have been done by Rakan, you'd assume, because Rakan can carry 2.
and they're more nimble.
More nimble flyers.
But if they can only carry 2, then you would need a Rakan pilot that's also a Suldam.
The air wing.
It's like these Torrakan are like the B-52s. You know, they're not the F-35s or the F-15s back in the day.
Also, the Seanchan would typically be... they'd be fighting people, armies on the ground, right? Like here, they're fighting a literal tower. So it makes sense to be in the air.
Take this tower.
Because otherwise you can't reach it. You know? So like, yes, from the air, that makes sense. I feel like
King Arthur and his men running up at the bottom, hitting it with swords.
Just banging on the walls with their swords. Have at you. Have at you.
So as the last of the Toregen disappear into the setting sun, Fortuona says they have changed everything. That Galgan was wrong to say that this attack would not give the Dragon Reborn a worse bargaining position. That this attack will turn him against the Seanchan.
Yeah,
they've started a thing now, and only time will tell how it'll end.
It's crazy that she says this like openly. You know, like it's like we're fucking up yet.
Just that she's in her mind between a rock and a hard place. Like she cannot allow the Marath Damane to run free.
No.
And she has to bring Rand to heel. She has to show him who's boss. I'm the Empress. Because look, she is the Empress now, officially.
She is. Yeah.
Are we going to keep on calling her Tuon? Or shall we call her
I probably will.
Yeah. Is this an Egwene? I don't remember the other name.
Leilwyn.
Leilwyn, that's right. Situation or what?
Yeah.
Or Tuona. is the Empress.
See what
May she live forever. So just
I'll
check
see
yourself
what
before you
comes
wreck
out of my
yourself.
mouth. Vinny is becoming a real Seanchan apologist, eh?
Yeah.
Dark friend Seanchan apologist. Suroth should be your number one lady.
Yeah.
Seraph is
represents
no
everything.
more. She's been fed to her own low bar.
No, she's been given to the Death Watch guards until
Yeah,
her
that
hair's
didn't
long
last
enough
long.
for her to be sold on the stockades.
She did.
Well, that was the end
Right,
of that
Joe.
chapter, by the way.
Was that the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Vil, did you want to add anything in there about Verin or Tuon?
Verin rocking up at Mat, very fortuitous for Mat, that is. Who doesn't like to get caught in Aes Sedai schemes? But guess what? He's going to get caught again. Other than that, not really a lot. I mean, Fortuana taking her name in her place just by speaking it is pretty much the Seanchan way, as much as getting
pretty
married.
cool.
Just speak it and it's done.
Yeah, you just say it out
Yeah,
loud.
power of words. But yeah, it's not a tremendous. It's a very setting the table. I think the most sort of hectic is the blood knives that get blessed and given their rings, and the nimbility of them, light armor, like scary shit.
Yeah.
That they are scary.
Little ninjas. Yeah.
Different, like magical ninjas.
Jockey-sized ninjas.
Ninja kids. 3 ninja kids.
Wow. Memories.
Um,
There were only 5.
Verin says that she began her journey back in Tyr, which she describes to Mat here as like an inn in Tyr, but like she left Lord Elgaren's estate shortly before that massive Trolloc attack. That was in Tyr as well, so technically her journey did start there. But Joe, like you, I think a lot of what Verin is saying here is a lie. She's just straight up lying because she can. She's Black Archer, so why not?
Shit. It's much more likely that some of the Dark Friends called her there because they had seen Mat from the town over in Hinderstap. The news had gotten out. He's running around both of those towns with his face exposed, and that's why she's there, because she's Black Archer. So, because this story stinks of bullshit.
I'm interested to
There's just
hear
so much
what's
bullshit.
in that letter. I can't remember what's in the letter at all.
It's
But
a
I
long
was gonna
while.
save it for
The letter is not opened yet to where I am at the moment.
not okay. I'm actually going to bring forward. I've got a favorite moment and 3 honorable mentions, and one of the honorable mentions I'll talk about now since we're talking about it anyway. But one of them is Mat finally seeing Verin's mask here. She's only pretending to be distracted or simple, like her whole facade about like the sort of loopy
Archer.
brown that is not really paying attention. Mat realizes in this conversation, he's like, oh, no, she's been putting this on all this time. And then he thinks to himself, she eyed him. That smile on the corner of her lips, that was the smile of a jackleg who didn't care that you were on to her con. Now that you understood, you could both enjoy the game, and perhaps together you could dupe someone else. Like she knows that Mat knows that it's all a facade. And it was just cool for Mat, because I think Mat is maybe other than Catsman, maybe Catsman has like a fleeting thought. Maybe there's more to Verin than she thought, sort of thing. But Mat, has the full-blown recognition.
Right before she dodges that poison bullet, when Verin was about to kill her.
Catsman, yeah. What was pretty funny here is they're meeting in Mat's smaller audience tent. Mat, who's like no bloody lord or anything, has multiple different tents, and this one is one of his smaller audience tents.
Yes.
He also just calls Verin, like no honorifics or anything like that. He just calls her straight by her name. Like you can't change
Perrin
Mat.
as
He is
well.
That's so good.
These 3 guys are like, nah, fuck it. I mean, you can say Rand has reason to. He's the Dragon Reborn. Okay, you get it. He's the savior of the world. But Perrin and Mat are just like, I don't know, just using the fact that they're mates with the Dragon Reborn to get away with this kind of shit.
I mean, this is quintessentially what got Verin all the information. Like, not a forceful person. I'm not going to force that you use honorifics on me. You're going to feel that you can push me around. Like Egwene says, being a novice is like being a fly on the wall. You just disregard it. So
Yes,
act
very
that
similar
sort of
approach. Yeah.
station.
Unthreatening so that people forget
Mm,
about her. Do you remember when we first read about Verin? It was in The Great Hunt,
mm,
when the Amerlin comes to Feldara and they're Aes Sedai with her, and she's in the study with Swan and Moiraine, and she figures out, she's like, you found the Dragon Reborn, didn't you?
mm,
Yeah, like
You know,
instantly.
and just was immediately included in that inner circle of the people that knew exactly who the Dragon Reborn was, which is wild to think that she was Black Arja at that
I
point.
don't
You know,
think
like
that she figured it out there and then. She knew
I think she
through
said
the
it.
Black Archer channels already that the dragon is born. They're looking for him. Everyone in Black Archer
Yeah,
was
probably.
communicating about find these boys and kill them.
It's why the whole vileness started, right? Like they were just trying to kill the Black Arja, acting without instruction from Ishamahal, just killing Menukajal. And when he found out about it, he killed a bunch of them because he's like, "Don't kill the Dragon Reborn. I want to turn him." And he's like, "Stop fucking with my plans." Anyway, we digress. Matt's always been preoccupied with Rand's impending madness. On that same trip in the Great Hunt, when they have that one night they're busy talking, he has like a big explosion about it. He's always worried about Rand going crazy and like hurting those people around him, which is interesting because he's the one person that seems to always just go back to that point. So I'm glad Verin could tell him here that, the male half has been cleansed. What else did I have here? In response to Ian's comment in the listener contributions, Verin here does seem to acknowledge the amount of stresses that have been placed on Rand's shoulders. She uses the words stresses that we've settled on that boy's shoulders. Yeah, so more points for Verin here, just acknowledging exactly that thing we said that I said I've been blind to. When Tuon thinks, here is my last point, that the attack on the White Tower will turn Rand against the Seanchan proper, she fears they will know soon how big a difference that will make to them. Having finished this book, they have no idea how close they came to Rand using the Cooden Call to flatten the palace, or actually just disappear the palace in Ibudar when he goes back there in the coming chapters.
And not just the
And
palace.
he's like,
the whole Ibudar, just everything. Like if this is their stronghold,
I don't think it
this
was the
is their
whole
people.
city. It was just the palace. He was in the city. He was standing on
in
one
the
of the
city.
bridges.
And he was like looking at it.
Yeah.
It
And this is after Natrin's Barrow, so he was thinking, yes, Natrin's Barrow, but even bigger. Just go. And so Tuon here thinks like, oh, we'll know soon how big an effect. You're lucky you don't know. It got you very
that
close to
happens
just being
right
absolutely
after
wiped
the
out.
Rand Tan scene.
Yes,
Then
yeah, when he
Rand
had a
jumps.
big blowout. Yeah. All right, that's enough blathering from me. Again, let's move on to chapter 37 called A Force of Light. Vil, please shed some light on the events of this chapter.
Page back. I was making other notes here. 37, A Force of Light. Point of view, Alamindra, or Min. Yeah, Rand is getting ready. He's gotten quite a depth at buttoning his own shirt with one hand. Not such an easy thing to do. We forget that the man has lost his hand. But she wants to get more out of him, and it's not very forthcoming. There's no peace with the Seanchan, and that's just what it is. It's like accept and move on. I can't dwell on this, but it is eating away at him. She has a viewing of a mountain in shadows, half of it blown away. Shy Ghoul or Veins of Gold moment? Not sure.
Veins of Gold, I think. I think
think
it's Dragon Mount.
Dragon Mount in
From the
a
description.
mountain in the clouds, but she says Dragon Mount's usually in the clouds. But this time the top of it is clear. Anyway, she's starting to question her own worth to Rand at this stage because he's grown so cold. Like if she can't, I guess, be there to protect him physically, like this is all her knives ain't gonna do much. These foes are outside of her level of fight. Rand is gone ice cold. So all she can really offer him at the moment is being a scholar, study the books, try and find things in the words. But Rand, at this point, dons his sword, and yep, this is the power-wrought Arthur Hawkwing blade. And she asks him, okay, you're going after Graendal, aren't you? And he's like, yep, I've got to move. There's things to do. Luz knows what Graendal will do. Luz in Rand's head. Like that all is blending into one now. Her personality, all of this makes sense. Natron Sparrow is already sent scouts out. He knows what it is. But he moves and he tells the maidens, his guards, that 20 maidens, that's all I need. We're going to battle. And hand signals flash and off they go. Ice Cold Rand then moves fast, and his actions is actually scaring Min. Like this cold determination. He also summons Nynaeve and Lord Ramshalan. You know him, old clown face. He's got a bell in his beard and dressed like a performing bard in a court. Rand is then standing as they enter, studying the maps. And on the map is marked where Natron Sparrow is. A fort of old that used to watch over Manetheren, but as Manetheren fell and absorbed into Andor, and time became water, and water became rivers, and all the rest, it became a royal hideout / retreat. But no longer in royalty, it was in some nobility, which just makes a perfect place for Graendal. This is right up her alley. Ramshalan, who's looking like a fool, I've already mentioned, gets quizzed by Rand about his predicament. He needs to beat this enemy, but this enemy is just too cunning, like a fox. And what he needs someone more witty, more you know, a more cleverer person than himself. And
The cleverest.
Ramshalan patronizes Rand that, oh no one can be more cleverer than yourself and all the rest. But Rand is playing a really good game here with him. And he's getting excited. He's going to get sent out to go and, get these people onto the Lord Dragon's side, which is probably going to be an opportunity to make a power move for myself. Anyway, like a live bait on a hook, Rand opens a gateway right close to Natron Sparrow and instructs him to go seek the Alliance. And he's like, am I going to get just a slight escort? Maybe a horse? It's like, no, go. Or should I change my mind? And he goes. And he he scoots off in his Scooty Puff Jr. all the way to the fortification. Rand stands there, keeps on studying the maps, and Nynaeve has now had enough of this. Like, she's like, what the heck are you doing? Rand gives Nynaeve like a sidewise answer, but state that what he is about to do should frighten him, but it doesn't. Like, very cold. He then steps through the gateway. 20 maidens rush through the gateway, making less noise than Ramshalan in his Scooty Puff Jr. is scooting out there. There's a good view of the fortification. A fortified but yet palatial, massive. But it's almost a small town. People in the fields doing things that field people would be doing outside of a manor house. Peasants digging in the dirt with their fingers, farming.
It's got a lovely dirt down here.
A full estate. The whole thing is going down. There's questions flying about why and how this is going to work. And Rand explains that she will compel him. she will draw out the entire conversation. Hence, as little knowledge as possible given to him in his being already a dumbass is not going to help her, but he's pretty much a pawn. That's all that he is. Some time passes, shadows stretch. So basically a whole day they've been hanging around there. And eventually, with the noise and the crackling of branches in the background, the maidens come out with a disheveled-looking Ramshalan, who is like, "Oh no, he's like, oh no, my Lord Dragon, you've got an ally. Like, yeah, everything's great." And Rand says to Nynaeve, not even listening to him, "Check if he's infected." And she's like, "Oh my God!" The compulsion on him is as thick as cream on a donut. Yeah, hectic. He's like, "Well, what is wrong?" And poor Ramshalan is just, actually, no, I don't feel sorry for him, but he is just like, you're not part of the conversation. You're a nil in this equation. There's a conversation between Rand and Nynaeve and Min, and like, you just what? And the maiden's just holding him there. Anyway, he spews his lies of what a lovely lady. But Min then says to Rand, like, "Look, man, let's just go back. Let's go back, think about this. Let's not do anything hasty. Perhaps ask Cad Swain for some advice," and that's like, fusel it. They put me in a box.
word to Rand.
No.
She put me in a box. Like, he's now even thinking, Cad Swain, her strings is like being put in a box. A box, man. Box. And as he speaks this words, and Nynaeve pipes up, like, "What is the purpose of this then?" And Rand starts talking about Galandor. Galandor's just another box. It's flawed. You need to be leashed to be able to use it properly. And you can't channel the power without anger, and goes on a dark rant rave. And as he starts talking all this nonsense, the access key starts glowing, and everyone's like, "Oh shit," glowing brighter, and it's getting scary. And all of a sudden there's massive light, and with a pew, like a ship jumping, getting ready to Jody, you're the stars man, show watcher, you know.
I am the stars man.
And
yes,
like a ship
to like
that's jumping like that light speed, a bar of light hits that castle fortification, and what was once there was not, and the whole world ripples with this channeling event of balefire. And as he does that, he says, "Forgive me for calling this mercy as well," because before that he ranted on about him having killed women before, and he thought it was mercy. Leah, he thought it was mercy, but he can kill women, and forgive me for calling this mercy as well.
Yeah, I think he says, like, how they're all under compulsion anyway. This is a mercy. Like, their minds are wrecked.
Yeah, he goes
knows Graendal.
a little bit later when they have the argument. He gives his justification, and as it's done, immediately Nynaeve's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Test him." And she does, and the compulsion is gone. So balefire mechanics, the last actions are undone. The man has got his head back. He is not a vegetable, because Nynaeve is like very scared that she's going to have to pull this apart off and leave a husk of a man. But she doesn't have to, because Rand's balefire actions has undone that. But Nynaeve shouts at him that he's out of control. Like, Rand, what the fuck are you doing? Situation. And he then says, "Test the fool." She tests him. It's gone. And then Rand's like, "Well, then she's dead. You know, we've got Graendal." And they step through the gateway. But before that, Ramshalan is like, "Hey, what the fuck am I doing here? Where was I? I don't understand." And Rand's like, "Oh, yes, by the way, I know that you were talking shit about me and how you're going to control me. I have issues with people trying to control me. 2 days walk that direction's a village, you'll find it. I don't want to see you again, and climbs through the gateway and closes it. Ramshalan's left to own in the wild. He's no longer walking with the dragon. Anyway,
No.
Nynaeve is not stoked with all of this. But Rand tells her, look, man, no matter what, they are husks. They are all compelled. She will not let anyone close to her without some level of compulsion on them, and they are all just slaves. So there's a mercy to what I've done. Min says outright at this point that she wishes Moraine was there, and tells Nynaeve that, man, when Rand walks away, we've got to do something. This is just too much.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve thinks about it, and she's not stoked about what she's thinking about. And Min says, like, look, what's the point of having Rand if he himself turns into a Forsaken? Which is a very strong, like, it almost ties into the plan of the Dark One. And Nynaeve agrees, but she doesn't agree with what she's going to say next, and that Cadsuane was right. And we need to be part of her schemes, because that woman will be scheming something. And they go to the gatekeeper's cottage, where Cadsuane is staying. Nynaeve knocks on the door. Maurice opens it in and like, oh, Nynaeve, what are you doing here? Oh, I don't know if Cadsuane's not available at the moment. And Nynaeve just says, Rand just balefired the entire keep out of existence. And Cadsuane's like, let her in. And the door gets opened, and there's Cadsuane sitting on a pillow on the floor with Hermes Bear and Sorelea, busy scheming. And Sorelea is like, all right, child, tell us about this event. And Nynaeve's like, yep, I will, but I want in on whatever plans you have. And Cadsuane tells her that we'll see of that. And she lays down the events of that evening. And the question is asked of Nynaeve, if she wants to be part of this, can she obey? And she says, yes, Cadsuane Sedai, I can obey. And Sorelea says, well, sit down, child. Not Sorelea, Cadsuane tells her, sit down, child. You may be the only one in the current crop that is salvageable, referring to all the Aes Sedai. Maurice is not stoked at that, but Sorelea then says, oh, Cadsuane, Egwene has got much G. And so correct, so beautiful. Nynaeve's part has been laid in front of her. She needs to find where Perrin is. This is very important. Find Perrin and come back to us, and perhaps then we'll include you in the plans. Min spares a thought for Rand and him having just wiped out an entire keep out of existence with innocence and the rest, and what he might be going through. And that is the end of that chapter.
A big one. Big one.
Huge one. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now this isn't emo Rand, and this isn't even goth Rand. This may be death metal Rand. This moment here, where he just uses that guy like a tool. He uses
Black
that
metal.
tool like a tool. Sends him in.
His rationale is somewhat justified in that he knew that once he's balefired Graendal, the compulsion that she had put on him would be removed.
Unless
Still a
she
gamble.
escaped and he just destroyed the building and she had already left because she was onto him. I mean, shit.
I don't
A lot
think...
could go wrong with that plan, and he knows, but he doesn't give a
Well,
shit because this guy is...
A lot did go wrong because she did escape.
Mm-hmm.
She did? I haven't read far
Graendal
enough.
escapes. Someone else,
spoilers,
not so
guys.
much.
I haven't read it yet, but I remember from reading it before that she doesn't escape, or that she does escape, that Rand doesn't get her there. So she must have done something with her compulsion on Ramshalan to make it look like Rand had gotten her and the compulsion had gone away.
It wasn't her. She didn't do the compulsion. It was it was Balthamel's the other one, Halima.
Oh.
And she
That
dies.
that hangs out there, and she croaks it there. So, net effect, one forsaken, balefired out of existence,
Yes.
Just wrong
no
one.
resurrection.
Just
We
not the
are
one Rand
still
expected.
less one. But I've got a little theory here, and
Okay.
this is not Rand. This build-up to becoming
Interesting.
harder is Rand giving away himself and accepting Lewis Theron into him. It's not Rand
Mhm.
making a decision, it's Lewis taking over. And this comes after the channeling event where Death Gates and spears of fire blooming things.
Yeah.
Since that moment where Luz got the power and took control and all of this happening, is Rand speaks like he's Luz.
Yeah, a lot more.
He
Yeah.
talks about
Lewis.
these, and one of the big things is he talks about this fall of this person, and Min and Nynaeve are both like, okay, who the fuck is this? They called him something, the fallen, I can't even remember the name in that whole passage there. But it's not Rand. It's not even Rand. We are not dealing, and Luz was not scared to use balefire. Not at all. He wrecked the world. And this is what's happening. It's Rand's face, but it's not Rand. Rand is fighting in the background probably for something at this point to try and get wrestle out of it. And Min is like, I don't have a connection with this person. This is not it's Rand is not there at the moment. Rand's not the anger.
I hear what you're saying. We do get in these chapters a lot of Rand points of view, and it is still Rand. He's not acting like Rand. He's taken on maybe more of how Lewis Theron was. But in terms of like the consciousness in his mind that's wrestling the power from him, and it's like him versus him, because we actually see exactly what happens when Rand does fully embody Lewis Theron again in Veins of Gold. That's when that actually happens, and the end result is not a dark version of Rand based on Lewis Theron in his worst moment. It's almost like a rejuvenation of Rand when he realizes what it's all for and what it's all about, and like he gains all of Lewis Theron's knowledge and expertise and memories and all that stuff, but he doesn't become the terrible
Veins of
version.
Gold,
So I don't know. Like,
and I think we get there. It feels more like a merger of the two.
yes, well, it's
Where
exactly
this
that.
is
That's
the
exactly what it is.
personality, and as I say, it's not Rand. It's not Rand's personality. It's not his method.
It's
of
not, but Rand
acting.
is actively and consciously turning himself into this thing. He's talking about it all the time. I must be harder. I must be more
harder,
emotionless and stuff, right? So
harder.
Rand is consciously choosing to go down this path. So while that might align with how Lewis Theron is, I don't think it's like Lewis Theron taking over and Rand isn't there in that moment. It is Rand, like you
Yes.
said,
No,
giving away
it's
more
not-
of himself.
It's not
that
Rand
is
captured
100%
in his
happening.
own mind. It is Rand, but he's
It's the Lewis Theron version of Rand.
he's a Lewis Theron version, almost as if I need to go to a darker place, and this man who have killed his, and the Min strangling, all of these things connect into that place.
Yeah.
Like more so,
for
more
sure.
so, more so, more so, that he is connected
Yeah.
into the darkest place of that man's mind. That is so
Yeah.
opposite him. That's why it's so easy for him to just go, watch this shit, hold my beer,
Dark
and
place.
kill hundreds of people in one place. And when he goes on that walk and looks at Bandar Eben, or it's Ebudar.
Yeah, Ibudar. Yeah.
Yeah, Ebudar. It's
One
like,
of
oh
those.
shit, okay, fuck, here it
Yeah.
comes.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it is just Dark Rand because it's living in
It
that
is super dark.
place inside the mind of Lewis Theron, combined with
I can't help
Rand's
but laugh
own dark
every time one of
place.
us says
It's like,
dark place.
mm,
You just said it again. I've just been watching Dark Place, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. And now every time I hear it, I just laugh. Joe, did you have anything else to say about this chapter?
No, I just said what I said. I got told that I was right and that I must raffo. So I'm ready to raffo.
Okay. I've got a couple of notes here. I was stoked that Rand at least remembered to ask the maidens for an honor guard or for some guards to come with him. I go to battle. I also noted that this keep is on the edge of a small lake. Joe, are you keeping count of all the lakes of
Apparently
of
you
are. When Ramshalan first comes to the attention of the reader, he shouts, "She should be executed, my lord," referring to Militaire Chadmar, who appeared to have been packing to leave Bandar Eben. So he, from the beginning, makes himself out to be a bit of a cad. The return of Sulin. Is this the first time we read about Sulin in a very long time? She's the maiden that goes and does the scouting outside of the gateway when Rand steps out into the forest near Natchez Barrow.
Didn't even realize.
Yeah, white-haired Sulin returned. I feel like it's Brandon who just insisted, no, she's got to come back. We built a rapport with her,
we will read a bit more though now, I think.
Yeah, I read these chapters weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't recap Villy's ones, just my own.
No.
Enough work as it is. I know Villy's going to tell me what happened in it anyway.
Natchez Barrow actually sounds pretty cool. It's like a series of towers built on top of each other, like rectangular towers. So you can imagine all the internal fortifications that allow you to defend each one of those floors as you move up the tower.
Like Donkey Kong.
The light inside the Cooden Col was scarlet. Did you guys ever imagine that light as being red in color? I always thought it was like a white or like a yellowish white light from inside that glow.
It's like a blue,
This time it was
soft
scarlet.
blue light.
Maybe it's like a mood ring. We discussed this previously in these books. You get
He's
this
very
kind
angry,
of thing.
so maybe.
So the redness is coming from his anger. When he channels from a nice place. When he's not trying to murder hundreds of innocents, then it's white.
Yeah. Min gets hit here by a shockwave. And Villy, you said it turns the world inside out. Min specifically describes it as not a physical force, so not an actual shockwave, but it turns her insides upside down or inside out or something like that. So this is the Bale Scream that people are connecting with what Fael and Perrin felt, but it moves backwards in time. So that's why they felt it much earlier than when it actually happened. But I was thinking it would be cool if Min had maybe felt it as soon as they step outside the gateway or something, before Rand actually does it. So that it would have traveled back just that short bit in time from the actual event. It's already going backwards in time. But that's just me reveling in any kind of time travel shenanigans in any story.
Yes.
I love fucking around with that stuff. What else did I have? I think I had one more point. Yes, it's when Nynaeve starts thinking that maybe this version of Rand is actually what they need. Min's counter argument is pretty weak. Something along the lines of, winning won't be winning if what he becomes is something akin to a Forsaken. But is that true? If he defeats the Dark One and then dies as he's hell-bent on doing so, maybe it is okay for him to become a darker person and die. And that's what Nynaeve is sort of saying. Nynaeve is coming to the party going, maybe this is what he needs to be. He's so singularly focused on that thing that he can do that thing for them and then die. And Min's going, no, but if he becomes something akin to a Forsaken, then it's not even worth it. And I don't know. I beg to differ, Min. I think that's Min just talking from the position of a person that's in love with someone that has to or feels
But
they need to die.
I don't think it's what he turns to in the end. It is what he is in the process of getting to the end.
What Min thinks he's going to turn into from
Because
here
what
and getting
stops
worse
him
along the
from
same
then
path.
just killing is like, okay, no life matters. It's just me and the
Yeah.
Dark One. Like, okay,
ends
I win,
justify the
and there's
means.
nothing left of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's move on from Dark Rand just for a little bit in our next chapter, which is chapter 38, called News in Tel'aran'rhiod. Vil, what news from this chapter?
There is news, and it's me again. Ha! I am full of it. Jody, get to rest another while.
Yeah.
Truer words have never been spoken. You are full of
with
it.
our favorite Egwene, and she is in Tel'aran'rhiod with Swan, who is lightly in. As we know, she struggles in that area, and they're having a meeting in the cobbler's shop. Chosen location because no one would expect them to hang out in the cobbler's shop, so there's no significance to being there. Jody, do you know what a cobbler is?
A cobbler, it's a guy who makes chocolates.
Yes,
It's a
correct.
Mm.
Pie shop.
Chocolates you put on your feet.
Yes, chocolates for your feet. Egwene cannot be more direct. No, I do not need anyone to come and rescue me. In fact, I forbade it. Listen to your Amarylin's instruction. Okay?
Direct,
that.
crystal clear orders.
It's like, do I need to give you a pen, which I'll just summon with my head to write it down like homework? Anyway.
Yeah.
All of this is, of course, after Elida's events, which has found her inside a slightly larger box that Rand found himself in before. Egwene, as I said, is very stern on her instructions. Unless execution is on the table, even then, it might even be good for me to die and have some sort of martyrdom to the tower being won. I almost can agree with her on that. Any which way. There's an unnecessarily long discussion period of the cobbler shop and what they do and how they do it and how many generations it's been on. Thanks for that, but let's skip past that real quick. News time, hence the title. Gawain is back. And Egwene's quiet and falters a little bit. And Swan is like, nicely handled, but you took too long. Criticizes her and like, damn you, woman. Anyway, yes, so she's like, oh, must everything be a test? And she's like, yes. Everything, every conversation that you are going to have from this day forward will be a test with everyone. So you handled it well, but just understand it. You have to be in that mode as an Amyrlin, which is quite significant. But anyway, why don't you tell me more about Gawain? What is he doing there? I thought he was in the other forces. And no, she hasn't been able to get much from him because she's hanging out with the other Aes Sedai, Gawain that is. And if he's not there being summoned by them, he's with Gareth Bryn. Swan informs Nani Egwene that the Remandala Lane rift and factions has just been started up all over again. We're right back to Salidar stage, and that's just fucking infuriating. Egwene then tells her that she wants to halt to sit in 2 days' time, but Swan is really worried that Egwene is spread too thin. No shit, she is. Swan asks her if it's difficult. Egwene's like, fuck yes. I get put in a box, I get taken out of the box for beatings. I don't have a change of clothes yet. There's shit food, if you can call it food. And that moment it sort of strikes her like, holy shit, this is what Rand went through. Except he didn't have Tel'aran'rhiod to run away to. He only had a madman in his head screaming at him the whole time about Eliana, while he's been put in a box, beaten, taken out the box, beaten, and put back in a box. Wow. Lida, fucking class act. But Elida cannot break me.
Elida.
She's like, no fucking way. Swan looks at her and says, like, wow, you really are the Amaryllis seat. And she's like, I know. She's like, no, like, fucking for real. Like,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
the greatest that there will ever
The
be.
Amaryllis.
Songs will be written and poems will be penned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, Swan then goes because she's got real work in the real world in the morning. And she's like, well, you can get out of this washing the clothes of your lover. And she's like, no, never get out of this. And there's a bit of, like prodding around that. We all know what's happening there. Swan then leaves, but Egwene stays in the dream. She is cruising to the rebel camp, which is maybe not the best decision, but shit, got to have a look around. She pushes through the camp, walking, and every now and then a dreamer would pop in and out. The camp is strange to see this way, so deserted. The rift is even where tents are and how groups are located. Look, it's becoming evident.
Mm-hmm.
The stole around her neck in this period of time starts getting really heavy, like there's lead woven into it. And then her need for direction and search, she lets that guide her. Very adept, of course, in the world. She finds herself in a very small camp with a fire almost really being there, which is unheard of. And it's a tinker camp. And the two of Than are there, and she thinks back in her time with Perrin, being in a similar camp, and she wonders, how is Aram doing? Ha! Yeah.
Ow.
Ouch.
He's doing fine. Don't worry about it.
He's fine in hell at the moment. Gawain, what is his motivation? Gawain is part of her motivation for wanting to be green, and she will marry him, and she will bond him, or bond and marry, whichever way around. Anyway, shifts and she finds herself in the shadow of the White Tower. The shadow is so heavy, it feels like it's like an oppressively heavy thing that's on her. And she thinks, like, should I just let it fall? Like, is that maybe the way for it just to fall? She blinks and she opens her eyes and she's in pain. She's back in captivity and she knows what's coming. 9 o'clock, she's going to get pulled out of the box and she's going to get a beating and all the rest. The day comes, and true, it comes. A voice is outside. It's Katarine, who then says, after she's taken out, she's to be released. She is now free. She's like, what? Just like that? I'm free? Yeah, the Amaryllis has now decided that the punishment should go to Silviana, who is in charge of the novices, and she's clearly failed in her task. And she's like, what? Elida has released me. So it's just like, she's realized she's got no case. She can't trial me because she will fail. So she's shifting the blame. She's finding a scapegoat.
Yep.
The new mistress of novice is the one that will directly train and teach Egwene. And guess who it is? It's Katarine Elrudden. Yay. Yay. What? So much shit happening. But she's out and she had won. They didn't break her. That's like that. She has won. This is a battle, not a war, but it is a battle won. She then gets escorted past gawking accepteds and novices. Like, holy shit, look at her, and she's still going. Like, everyone is just mind blown. And Saren then, and this is the sitter for the Browns, I can't remember now.
Yes.
Finds her and is like, oof, okay, I need to talk to you. And the Red Sisters, Racine and someone who's escorting is like, no time, we got to get in. It's just like, hey, do you talk to a sitter like that? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm talking to her. You walk behind. I'll walk with her. And tells her that it's not quite the story. Silviana took on Elida in front of the hall and told her that you release her. She is my charge. You have no authority, and called for her to be deposed in front of everyone for breaking Tower Protocol laws and all the rest. So Elida went all Elida on her, called her dark friend, beat her with the power. No, she didn't do that, but she might as well have, because she has ordered her execution. The Red Archer is
Jesus.
flailing to the point where
Yes, because
everyone's like,
Silviana is also red.
she's also red. She's talking about executing her own, because she doesn't see that distinction between Amberlin and being on the red. She still thinks that she's very much, everything is just the red. And Egwene turns to this and says to the two reds, you shouldn't be following me. You should be out saving your Aja, saving the neck of your people. Like, go. I'll go look after myself. But they won't. No, they won't. They will see her, get her, and to the point where Egwene tells a novice, hey, go to Catherine, go get that bloody vile tea so that I can drink it so these people can actually go do the good work. Because even Egwene says there's a purpose for the red. There's no ousting of any Arjas. Everyone has a place in the tower. Anyway, lots of urgent scuffling going about. The tea comes, she takes a key. The Verins are, the raids scurry off like you'd expect them to do. Like, holy shit, there's a lot happening here. And she's like, oh, I've got a moment. I've been in this dress for a week now in a box. Just want to get clean. She walks into a room and, hello, Egwene. Come and sit, child. Here's Verin. Verin has found a way all the way from Mat right into the tower, and she's like, no time, Verin. Like, I would love to, but I just got too much on my plate at the moment. And she says, oh, by the way, that dress you're wearing is green. She's like, no, Verin, it's not. You just lied. And she's like, yes, I just lied. I think it's time to sit, child. We have much to discuss. End of chapter.
Dun, dun, dun.
The biggest dum ever.
Was crazy, hey? The first time you read it.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was on the train up to Madrid when I read these chapters.
Wow.
Going to Foo Fighters. And I was like, I have to stop crying. Like, I stopped reading because I'm crying in public. Like, but next to the pool all the time. Or on the train. No, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Wearing your emotions on your sleeve, Joe.
Yeah, so super emotional. Yeah. Egwene, man.
Egwene?
Not a place setting, this chapter. You get a little piece over there, little piece over there, little piece over there, because guess what's coming?
I have 3 notes for this chapter.
That's not
Lay
a
it
lot.
on us.
No.
Yeah. Suspense.
I'm just making sure that you've said everything you want to say. Good to know that the Hall won't act on an accusation of being a dark friend without proof. So the same thing with Silviana. Like, Elida would have to prove that she's a dark friend before she can have her executed, right? So that wouldn't necessarily happen. And it seems like the Hall at least can still prevent that kind of craziness from happening. I'd forgotten about this method of seeking answers in Tel'aran'rhiod. Letting need pull you to where you need to be. Remember, they did that way earlier in the story. I think it took them to show them to go to Tenchiko or something.
Tenchiko,
yeah.
Panok's Palace to get the sand bracelets.
Yes.
But so what did Egwene actually learn here? She poses herself some questions about what life is about when she's in the Tinker camp, but did I miss the connection to her need? Like, what is the need that brought her there, and what did she get from that necessarily?
Unity.
I don't know.
Because she was in a Seanchan controlled territory.
No matter what the circumstance is, that unity needs to be there. You have to have it's like bringing the Tuathan in there is like they are bound by their quest, the unity around peace and looking for the song. That's it. So then from there she goes
Right.
under the tower into the shade of it. And should I let it fall? Like the overwhelming weight of this thing that's coming down. And
That's
that's where
right. That's
she's
the other thing. So, like,
the option, like, is this just two towers that needs to start forming? Is this just, should there just be all these different like powerhouses? And then what stops a king from saying, cool, I'll have my own lot of channelers? And which is kind of the
yeah,
Seanchan.
Yeah.
I have my channelers and my power, and I have this
hmm
allotted power. She's like, no, this cannot be. It's just certainty into her being an Amberlin. Like, I need
yeah,
to go through with all of this. But then she wakes up and gets freed, and it's like another spanner, like bang.
yeah. Um, we do know what happened to Aram. We poured one out for our homie when we covered that before. Rain and Isla, the two leaders of the Tinker caravan that Perrin and Egwene meet up with. We actually do see them again later. We saw Rain. He was, I think, they joined Perrin's
Perrin in
the
battle for the
villagers,
two
people
livers.
around Eamon's Field. Yeah, they found them.
And they reference
out there, and
to
they-
by Baron, like they were the ones willing to strap the babies to their backs and run.
Yes, and that's obviously also how Aram found his way to Perrin and Fael's side. Yeah. But yeah, we do read about them again, which is cool. That's it. The last note was just green dress. Boom.
Another thing, it's good to see Catherine continuing the very long tradition of Black Aja, Mistress of the Novices. Things are back the way they should be.
Yes.
Sylviana
Following all of
detour.
predecessors' footsteps. Yeah. All right, let's get into the real meat and bones of how that previous chapter ended in chapter 39, called A Visit from Verin Sedai. Joe, can you please revisit the events of this chapter for us?
That is basically my job on this podcast, so yes.
Sure is.
Revisiting bringing up old shit. That's my job. Egwene's first thought is that Verin never held the oath rod to begin with. But Verin replies that, don't be silly. I did that before your granny was even born. No, it's something else. Her next thought is that she had the oaths removed. She knows this is possible through the Black Aja hunters, Yukiri and Seren and all those people. And technically, she is correct. Verin did have her oaths removed. Now she knows not to trust Verin and realizes that she hasn't ever trusted her. Since I've known you, something's been weird. Verin thinks that is very wise. She is Black Aja, after all. And I have typed here. Dun, dun, dun. You guys preempted me. You stole my dum, dum, dum.
Well, there's room for two.
Egwene reaches for the source, not the course, as I have typed here, instinctively, and berates herself for taking that fork route. Because in the previous chapter, she was like, oh, just give me the goddamn fork route. I'll just take it. She was so easily
So eager for it.
fork routed. And now she's like, God damn it, if I'd just waited an extra 5 minutes. But no. Verin is also thoroughly enjoying her tea and keeps mentioning it. She asks Egwene to thank Laris for her this beautiful tea, because very few women know how to make it. Now Egwene thinks Laris correctly. So now Egwene thinks Laris is a dark friend, but that is even sillier than the oath rod idea. And Laris, no. Egwene is now terrified and powerless. She asks what Verin plans to do with her. Nothing sinister, it turns out, just a little chat. So Egwene pulls over the one little stool in the room and takes a seat. Verin first compliments Egwene on her work in the tower. Very impressive. She herself couldn't get involved because she was very busy with Rand. And this is what leads to that little conversation about him and how they've treated him and they've put too much on that boy's shoulders, blah, blah, blah. So it's again brought up here. But also how much Rand misunderstands the nature of the battle with the Dark One. What he thinks he'll need to do is not how the Dark One thinks. That's how the Forsaken think. They're easy to understand. They are spoiled children shouting for daddy's attention, basically. But the daddy himself is playing on a whole other level. So enough chit-chat. Verin gets serious. Even her face changes, eyeballs her.
Yeah.
This is why she's here now. Many years ago, She was faced with a decision to either take the oaths to the Dark One or be executed. So she chose option A and decided to be a mole within the Black Aja. And as a scholar, the chance to study them from the inside was just too good to pass up. Very dangerous, but wow. Turns out her warder Thomas was already a dark friend, but he was looking for a way out. And while there are no ways out after you've said your dark oaths, Verin kind of provided him at least with a way to make his life valuable. The oaths, it turns out, are quite specific, the oaths to the Dark One. I swear not to betray the great lord and to keep my secrets until the hour of my death. The hour of my death, the key words there. Egwene looks down at Verin's tea again and realizes, poison. That was why she needed Egwene to thank Loras. She gave her asping rot. Death comes within an hour of ingestion. She remembers that Nynaeve told her about it, blah, blah, blah. Thomas has also taken his asping rot, and he is off spending his last hour with his family. So she came to Egwene to confess and seek redemption in this last hour, did she? No. What? Verin pulls 2 leather-bound books from her script, a red one and a blue one. Her life's work, what every brown Aja woman strives for, to leave a work so profound as to assure her legacy. And boy, will this one leave a mark. The big red book is encoded, and the little blue one is the key to the cipher. They contain everything you want to know about the Black Aja. Names, locations, explanations, their leaders, their prophecies, the goals and motivations of every faction, and a list of every known Black Aja sister. Well, almost everyone. All of them known to Verin, which is most. So about this time, the poison is starting to work, so they must hurry now. Inside the red book is a bookmark made of leather straps and steel weights, and when the books are bound together by that strap, they turn invisible. That's a good thing to have, to keep your books secret. A Ta'angriel from the Age of Legends. I thought probably Semirog's, from all her evil experiments that she was making notes with. Can't let anyone find that book.
That tracks.
Yeah, so Verin admits that the poison was a backup plan. She had thought to use the oath rod in the tower to remove her oaths to the Dark One, but when she got there, it was not where it's supposed to be. Oops, they killed Verin. She doesn't say... Egwene thinks
it.
The Black Aja probably went and took it. Sorry.
The hunters, yes.
The hunters. Black Aja hunters, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
One thing Verin wasn't able to verify was who Msana is posing as in the tower. So she knows she's here, but every time she had a meeting with her, she was too clouded. She couldn't figure it out. Egwene thanks her for her trust, and as Verin's eyes start to close, she tells Egwene that she had always had a feeling about Egwene, and that she'll be Amyrlin one day, she's sure of it. And an Amyrlin needs to be armed with knowledge. Verin asks Egwene to tell the other Aes Sedai that while her name may always be remembered as black, her soul is brown. Egwene eases her down onto the bed. Verin's eyes flutter open for a few seconds, and Egwene tells her that her soul is of pure white light, like the light itself. Verin smiles, and her eyes close forever. Soon after, the door opens. It's Turese, a recently raised sister of the Red Aja. Still hasn't got the ageless look. She sees Verin on the bed, apparently sleeping, and Egwene gives her an explanation that is very much a lie, but not really. Teresa tells her to let Verin sleep and not disturb her. She is just a lowly novice, and if the Aes Sedai wants to sleep in your bed, she will goddamn sleep in your bed. She's like, oh, yes, Aes Sedai, no problem. Eventually, she will have to deal with the corpse in her bed, but right now she needs to get started on that cipher. So she doesn't know what has happened in the hall so far. Has Elida been deposed? Was Silviana still alive, or was she executed? There's no way to know right now, so she might as well hit the books. Turns out that the cipher is very good. Egwene's first idea was to just memorize the cipher book and destroy it to keep everything safe, but that won't happen in the short time that she has before she'll have to explain the dead woman in her bed. So she covers Verin with a blanket and moves her around every now and then to make her look less like a dead person when Therese checks in, which she does multiple times. I had Weekend at Bernie's flashbacks. Like, why don't you just walk Verin out tied together? Oh, Verin. She's very sleepy. So she starts with a list of names. Good place to start. She finds Katerin. Bummer. Alviarin. Really? Elsa, Galena, and then Sheriam. Oh, that last name makes
That
her
stings.
sick. Her own keeper. Both keepers at one point were, of the two halls, were Black Aja. And she counts over 200 on Verin's list. 200 Black Sisters. I've got them down in ascending order. 17 from the white, 21 from the yellow, 21 from the blue, 28 from the brown, 30 from the grey, 38 from the green, and 48 from the red. And I like the red even less now. So there were novices and accepted as well on the list. There are more names than she recognizes. Duhara, Delana, of course, we know. Moria, Dagdara, Zanika, Miyasi. She was cracking nuts for Miyasi just the other day on the balcony. Yes. Unfortunately, no Lelaine or Romanda. Bummer. And no Cadswain either. And none of the Black Aja hunters are on there either, of course. We've already established this. And worst of all, no Elida. Damn it, that would have been nice and easy. But no, Elida is just dumb. Just as her candle is about to burn down and the time to report Verin's dead body is arriving, there's a knock at the door. It's Nicola with a tray of food for Verin Sedai from Laris. And a sneaky question from her too. As she passes her the tray, she, do you trust her? And Egwene sneakily answers back, yes. So after a few check-ins from Terese after Nicola leaves, Egwene finally wolfs down the bowl of soup that I don't think Verin's going to be having. And of course, as she suspected, there is a secret message in a glass vial at the bottom of the bowl. Inside the little scrap of paper reads only one word, wait. After a while, there's another knock, and this time it's Maidani. And she knows a corpse when she sees one. And it's also been a few hours. Verin's starting to turn different colors. Egwene gives her some bullshit story again, which is not the truth. She really must get her hands on an oath rod. This is becoming too easy for her. And Maidani wants to raise the alarm because she's told her a story about how she was murdered by the Black Aja, Verin that is, and she's like, Black Aja murder in the tower, we need to raise the alarm. Egwene tells her, listen, I'll deal with it. You don't worry about it. Onto her news as to why Maidani is there. Elida is still Amyrlin, by the skin of her teeth. But the hall formally censured her and gave her 3 months' penance. But it is clear that Elida is losing the support of her own Aja. She had to work hard with them to make sure. Silviana is still alive, but is awaiting judgment. Egwene tells her to tell the others to capture Elviaran and make her re-swear the oaths. She's Black Aja, and that is the news that Verin had brought her and died for. They did have the oath rod. Turns out, because they had taken it to test Nicola's trustworthiness. They have decided to bring in some novices and accepted, as they can go places unnoticed. Fly on the wall, as Billy said earlier. Egwene thinks, good idea. Yeah. They chose Nicola because she is an Egwene superfan. How much has changed? Yes. So they also removed Maidani's fourth oath of obedience with that oath rod while they were at it. So Egwene's like, okay, cool. That's good. Now go and deliver my message about Elviaran, and also, while you're at it, you mind taking this dead body with you. Just open a gateway. But before you open a gateway, you should mask it with another weave from like one of the 100 from the Aes Sedai test. Also something strong, which is a good idea because, of course, channeling will draw Teresa's attention, which it does. So when she comes in, she sees one of the views for the 100 test, and the explanation is, oh no, she's just showing me how to practice these weaves. So she doesn't check in again. And after that, Maidani weaves the gateway and takes Verin's body with her. She's like, I also asked, what do you want me to do with this body? And Gwen's like, I don't care. I can't deal with it right now. Do whatever you think is best. So outside, throw in the river. Gloop. Off you go. Also, Egwene's a little bit sad about that. She feels guilty, like after this woman's a legend of like what Verin's done, and there's nothing. We can't have a funeral for you right now. Yeah. So with her own bed free, she lies down and wakes up in Tel'aran'rhiod, in her room there. She moves to the spring garden to wait for Swan and starts thinking about Sheriam. How had she betrayed them while she was keeper? Like, how much information was the truth? How much escaped? How had they been manipulated by her? Was she part of the plot to get Egwene raised as Amyrlin? Was the Dark One laughing at them after setting up 2 towers and 2 Amyrlins and both having their keepers manipulate them? Like, she's getting angrier and angrier. So when Swan arrives, she finds Egwene in full plate armor. I've got your +2 to armor class. And Aiel spears in her hand, which I would imagine gives you advantage on attack rolls. She dismisses the armor and spears quickly, because Swan's like, oh, look at you. And tells Swan to summon a chair. You're going to want to sit down for this. Sheriam and Moria are Black Aja. There's a bunch of others. We need a plan to capture them all, so hang on for a while until I figure it out, because we can't let the other ones know. It's got to be super coordinated and get everybody at the same time. But, of course, Swan doesn't believe her right from the beginning, but she's like, listen, I'm the Amyrlin, shut your mouth. This is the truth. Swan asks her about Elida and Egwene's captivity status, but Egwene is distracted by something feeling off. She can't put her finger on it. And then she's pulled out of Tarvalon, back to her room, where Nicola is shaking her awake. Shadowspawn, the tower is under attack. It's Tarman Gaidon, she's screaming. But no, this isn't the last battle. This is the Seanchan attack she dreamed of, and she can't channel enough to even light a candle. Dun dun dun!
Again.
It was appropriate.
Yeah. Willem, what you got?
Shit's about to get real.
Ooh, shit's about
Okay.
to get real.
Firstly, Jody, I
Yes.
did expel moisture from my eyes at the Verin passing. This was very,
I
very
was-
sad
Yes.
to see one of my own go like that.
But she wasn't really one of your own.
I can still claim her greatness.
I suppose. No one could stop you.
It
Yes.
was a sweet moment as well.
Yes, it was. It was
Egwene
just-
telling her that her soul is white, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
huge.
I had to take a breath before reading that just to compose myself.
It is.
So she does with
yeah,
a smile on her face.
Verin. Look, what a character! Look, it's
Yeah.
It is a unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. 12 books. Verin has been in the background, fucking dominating, busy doing shit all the time. And then
Almost
popping up every
poisoning
now
cats
and then
when
at key
compelling
moments.
people here. Just,
Which
And
makes
it's
me
like, okay, gotta go now. Whoop,
want
disappears.
to like. It was Verin at the that what's the Forsaken Party Dark Friend Social.
People think so. There's more than one Aes Sedai there, but I mean, it could be any one of the 200. But I like to think that she was the Dark Friend Social.
For sure.
I
remember at the time when we were reading about it, the outfits that the Aes Sedai wear are very sort of like baggy, like they're full like head coverings and like their full body, so as to completely obscure the shape of the person underneath them. And I always thought that was almost an indication that like Verin could quite easily be imagined to be in that disguise without being recognized, despite her sort of more rotund build. Like she is more matronly, you know.
Yes.
So I always thought that was a convenient way of saying, oh yeah, it could be Verin under there.
Probably.
Could be anyone.
I'm going to go with it is Verin.
Yeah. What else, Phil?
Egwene, sharpest attack. From trying to go
Well, it took
through
her 3
all of the
guesses.
mental, like, dang. Okay, cool. I got this. Right, am I yet to die now? Look, let's.
Yeah. But also, like when she tells Medani to do the weave from the 100 weaves first, knowing that the guard outside the door would check in,
gonna
what are you
peek
channeling
in.
about? And then doing the gateway after that. Like, such quick thinking on her feet.
Not just that,
yeah,
excuses,
really, really cool.
not lies. She did not lie once in her
She
conversations
Aes it.
about
No.
what happened. She just
But she
spoke
didn't tell
the
the truth.
truth to mean something else. Is that lying?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's not lies.
It's not lies.
Making the truth something else is not lying. Yeah.
It's the truth. But anyway, she also died it
Yeah.
properly. And rightly, she needs
did.
to get her hands onto that oath rod. Don't worry, we're very close to that now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the setup to the next thing. Like, you know what's coming. You know.
Yes. Oh, yes. Big things. Big things.
Indeed.
Okay, let me pick through my little crumbs here for a minute, and then we can move on to the last chapter. I really enjoyed the fact that we got that confirmation from Verin that she was coerced into joining the Black Arger, and then she thinks, I thought it was about time we had one of us among them, worth the life of one woman, which is cool. She broke everybody's rules by giving Egwene the Dream Terangriel.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a Black Archer thing. It wasn't an order. That was Verin just acting in her. She's like, I think this girl's got it. And she gave her the thing. And just look how much. Egwene rediscovered traveling because of that, right? Remember when she traveled back to the tower after leaving the Wise Ones, she traveled through Tel'aran'rhiod. And that's how she put together the weave for actual traveling as well. So yeah, Verin's little acts empowering Egwene, to meet the Wise Ones in Tel'aran'rhiod, get all her training about the world of dreams. It's all because Verin gave her that ring. Some other Aes Sedai mentioned here. Moria, you said, Joe, she was one of the ones, the name stuck out to me. It was, she was one of the first ones to vote yes for declaring war on Elida, which we know, strengthens the rift between the tower and the rebels, like declaring war openly. So like the chaos stuff, exactly, Will. So Lemuria makes sense for a Black Archer sister to do that. Duhara is another one that's named. She's the one that was sent to Elaine by Elida to be Elaine's
been told, no, thank
sort
you,
of
get out of
advisor, and was told to GTFO.
Well done.
Dakdara was mentioned in that list, and that's the older yellow, the one that was in Saladar as well. So yeah, a couple of prominent names in that list. It was good to hear that apparently Elida, not only was she not Black Archer, but she was as frustrating to the Black Archer as she was to the other Archers. Like fair enough.
Now it's like a little redemption arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sow chaos if you cannot predict the actions of the person that's supposed to stick to the rules and honor the light and all the rest.
Yeah.
Because she just comes here like a fucking whirlwind. Make more chaos.
Yeah. Just more chaotic than the Black Archers trying to sow the chaos. Just it's like the pain and fame versus the shadow,
Yes.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah, she's the pain and fame of the Aes Sedai.
And she was manipulated
a little bit more deft.
Yeah.
A little bit. What else did I have here? Just a cool reminder, I think you guys called it out as well, of Nicola being Egwene's greatest advocate among the novices. That's great. A great 180 from her.
I called her Mega in my notes. She went all full Mega.
Mega fan.
Make Egwene great again.
When Egwene reads Sheriam's name, she immediately thinks back to the Grey Man attack in the tower. Remember, Sheriam is the one that found her and Nynaeve afterwards, and also, we were speculating about was she involved with that at all, and Egwene goes straight there. And then it's just that final line is bittersweet, right? Egwene's dream of the Seanchan attack had finally come true. It's like she was right, and here she is, totally justified, but at what cost? So let's move into the next chapter and find out exactly what cost in chapter 40 called The Tower Shakes. Joe, what's shaking in the tower?
The tower is shaking. The stones it's made out of. So Swan jumps out of bed. We're back with Swan now. She's just seen Egwene pull out of Tel'aran'rhiod, startling the crap out of Gareth, who jumps up to his feet and unsheathes his heron-marked sword. What's going on? Standing there in his undies, muscles glistening in the pale light of Swan's globe of light. Keep it in your pants, Swan. She's always like, woo! Look at him. Look at those muscles. Egwene is in danger. And he's like, what? Okay. And she's like, let's go, let's roll. And he's like, no, that's not how it works. They get dressed and they head outside. They are met by a young soldier coming to get Gareth. He reports that the scouts have seen something. Bursts of light around the tower, dark winged shapes. That's Shadowspawn are attacking. Possibly. No one knows what's going on. Gareth's first thought is also Shadowspawn, But they wouldn't attack the White Tower like this without a massive ground force in support, and he does not see 100,000 Trollocs hiding behind the 3 rocks and the 2 trees outside the camp.
No.
With that info, Swan is sure that it must be the Seanchan. Egwene had dreamt it. And she called the flying creatures Raken, so it must be them. So she's putting 2 and 2 together. Gareth decides that if there is no ground force coming, and the Seanchan are focusing their attack on the tower, their enemies, then this is no concern of his. Let them attack. Doing our work for us. But Swan is not having that. She's going after Egwene. And Brian is not having that. He's like, listen, this thing you have with oaths, we need to have a talk about it. She swore an oath not to try and rescue her. But then again, she's also pretty shit at oaths. She tries to convince him of the threat, that Egwene is not scared of anything, but she is terrified of the Seanchan. Every time she speaks about it, she shivers. Like, this is serious shit. This is not something we can ignore. He's still not having any of it, so she calls him a fool and stomps off, like a mature former Amyrlin seat that she is. Back to Egwene. She's in the hallway now, holding onto the wall as the tower shakes. Explosions everywhere. Mortar chips are falling off the ceiling. There's novices screaming. Nicola is screaming that the end has come, that the last battle is here, and Egwene has to calm her down. This is not the last battle. This is the Seanchan. She drags Nicola along to the nearest window and has a peek out to confirm, yep, toe raken through the air. These creatures are too big to be raken, so they must be toe raken. Swooping with weaves spinning around them and balls of fire blasting the tower. That in my mind is such a cool shot of the
so
Torrekin
cool, eh?
with weaves spinning around it and like fireballs. Like, that's awesome. Looking down, she can see parts of the tower below on fire, huge gaping holes, and there's Torrekin climbing up the walls like bats with their little claws. One of them pushes off the wall and then flies up right past her window, and she hears terrified screams coming from it and realizes that this is not an attack. This is a raid to capture Marastamane. So a fireball blasts a hole in the wall of the passage she's in just up ahead, and she knows that soldiers will be coming through with Sildam and Adam, the worst part. Panic takes her, and she can only think that she will not go back. She must run. But quickly enough, she takes control of herself. She is the Amyrlin seat. This is her tower, and these Seanchan can fuck right off. Next to her, Nicola whimpers, and like, they're coming for us, they're coming for us. And Egwene stands tall, embraces the source that she can, and she roars, let them come. Luckily enough time has passed that she can actually channel now, but not nearly at full strength. Nicola can see how weak her channeling is, and she's not convinced that they can fight back. But Egwene tells her that she is an initiative of the tower. Stand up, and she'll protect her. She hears crying and screaming, so they head that way. Let's go towards the crying and screaming during this battle. So she finds a whole terrified gaggle of novices in white, because she's in the 22nd floor of the White Tower. She's in the novices area. And she's got over 50 of them. And I'm like, bing pot. They see Egwene, and there are cries of the Amyrlin, like, oh, we're saved. And then a flood of questions. Everybody's talking over everyone, like just a gaggle. She raises her hands.
I just realized why that whole thing of the brown Arger quarters and the novices quarters swapping had to happen. For Egwene and the novices to be up higher in the tower to face Torrekin attack.
It wouldn't have worked if they were on the ground floor.
No. Okay, cool.
Maybe she is Verin. Oh, yes. So they're all talking over each other with all their questions, and she raises her hands, and they fall quiet. Then she lays down what's happening. Seanchan, not Tarmon Gaidon. Still super dangerous, but fear not, I won't let them take you. You are mine. Nicola, Jasmine, Yeteri, Inala, come here. The rest, watch this and learn. I'm going to teach you how to link. Egwene will make sure that when the Suldam do come, they won't find easy pickings in the novice quarters. It takes some time for them to learn it, but they are smart girls, and they finally get it. She links with Nicola, and when the power floods into her after weeks of fork route, I'm going to say a month. How long has she been captured? Or does it feel like a month? A long time. She's so relieved to feel that power again. Then they add Yetiri and Inala, and then the power really floods into her. Almost as much as she could on her own. So she's stronger than these three to put together. Now it's time to sort out the novices. She's been around them long enough. She's heard the rumors. She knows what's going on, how their system works, their rumor system. So she's heard from others who is the best with weaves and who's the most level-headed. Individual strength in the power doesn't matter now. So even if you're the weaker one, but you're the smarter one, you lead the circle.
Yes.
Then Egwene weaves a gateway, telling the novices, never copy what I'm showing you now. What I'm doing, you don't do it, okay? A gateway that opens straight into the object of power storeroom in the tower. Every Ungreal, Sa-Ungreal, and Ta-Ungreal the White Tower possesses. Some of the novices think she is trying to escape, but she tells them, listen, I'll be back. And when she does, she wants at least 5 good circles formed. Get to it.
Yes.
She jumps through the gateway, she has a quick look around, and finds what she is after, a fluted white wand as long as her forearm. The most powerful Sa-Ungreal the tower has, as she draws through it, hearing gasps from her linked novices. So much power. Big smile on her face. The white tower will not fall while she is Amyrlin, not without a fight to rival the last battle itself. Back to Swan. Just to anticlimax the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. The worst. What? Now?
It gets even worse than that, because Swan is heading to Gawain's tent. Fucking Gawain. Gareth made a big stink about her plan. Like, this is no. Egwene forbade it. You're not going to do it, you oathbreaker. But he's right there next to her anyway. Still. Gawain is already getting ready. He's heard all the shouts. He knows what battle sounds like. Swan tells him the tower is under attack, that once he helped her escape the tower, and will he allow her to get him back into the tower? And she's like, fuck yeah, let's go. Boots on, running around, trying to put one boot on. They are going to save Egwene. He is very single-minded, as we have discovered. He's on board immediately, of course, and so she sends him to go get horses. Gareth's like, you're not taking my army's horses. Go find your Aes Sedai horses. You could take them on this suicide run. With Gawain off to get the horses, Gareth asks her how she plans to get inside. And she's like, Shemerin's Watergate, silly. Remember how excited I was about it and got her to draw a map? I was the Amyrlin at the time, and I didn't even know that thing existed. No one's going to see us coming. He gives these two, Gawain and Swan, a snowball's chance in hell of actually succeeding, as he will not be party to her breaking another oath. Like, I'm not going to be there to protect you, so you're going to die. So she stalks off again, but he follows. And then eventually he's like, fine, I'll come. Blasted woman, but only under 2 conditions. Number 1, you bond me as your warder. Swan is a bit surprised, taken back. It's like, what? She lost Elric during her deposition and isn't keen to relive that loss again. But she also loves Gareth, and she has missed the bond. So she forms the weaves and lays them on him. And they are bonded. She can feel his emotions for her, his powerful concern for her, more powerful than his concern for Egwene. And she's like, oh, emotions. And Gareth is there flexing his fists going, whoa, the power. Imagine if every man in my army felt like this. I feel like I could run 1,000 leagues and fight off 100 foes at once while laughing at them. And she's like, fucking typical man.
Yeah, it is too.
First thing he's like,
she's right.
Rad. So just then, Gawain returns with Bella, and Swan is just as happy to see her as all of us. She asks what his second condition is, but he says he'll keep that for later. And there's a little thing about there. I don't know. We'll talk about it afterwards. Gareth asks Swan to give him a moment to organize his captains and to gather up 100 men to take with them. When she agrees, he salutes her with a straight face, but she can sense his inner grin. He's loving this new bond, and she is going to regret it by the end. His primary goal now is just to annoy her with the bond. Back to the tower. We are running through the hallways now with Adalorna, Bastine of the Green Aja. Finally, we'll see the epic Battle Aja in action, guys. Oh, wait.
She's the Captain General of the Greens.
Mm-hmm.
She has seen Josane, another Green, die. She's seen Marthera captured. She doesn't even know where her warders are. One of them's dead, one of them's injured, and the other one's just MIA. They had lasted only a few minutes against the Seanchan and were swept aside with ease, and she is ashamed. Then she feels channeling, and her first thought is to run and hide. But she is Captain General of the Green Aja. So, very much like Egwene now. I've got to hide, and then very quickly, no, wait, I'm in charge here. I'm going to take the initiative. So, torchlight down the hall reveals Seanchan soldiers approaching.
Well done.
Thank you very much. With a Suldam and Damane linked. She does run now. She's like, fuck that. Nyonk. And she feels a shield push at her, but she is holding too much of the power, and she runs around the corner. You need line of sight for this spell. So the shield disappears. Now she is gasping. She's bleeding. Her scalp has been cut by like flying pieces of rock and stuff, and she's running and stumbling down the halls as she flees. And then a shield does push through and cuts her off from the source. A flow of air wraps around her ankle, and she is pulled back, laying on her belly, clawing at the floor, like terrified of being collared. Like what's that movie called? Drag Me to Hell or something? Like that. She's being dragged.
Yes.
The Suldam approaches with the collar, and she snaps it on her neck. She says, "My name is Grigana, and your name will be Sivi. Sivi will be a good Damane." The collar suddenly then unclicks and falls onto the floor on its own. Grigana looks confused for a second before she is consumed by fire. And she feels, and this is Adalorna, feels immense power from behind her. The remaining Damane weave shields, but both their collars are removed by delicate but precise flows of air, and the Suldam that were attached to them are disintegrated by lightning. Adalorna turns around to see a woman in white standing on top of a pile of rubble, a massive halo of power surrounding her, arms outstretched. She stood like vengeance itself, the power of Saidar a storm around her. I'm quoting a lot of lines because they are very cool. Egwene
I recognize them because I
novices.
wrote them down.
Egwene orders the novices to help Adalorna up, put the freed Damane with the others. Others? I was like, wow, how many did you have already? How many have you captured? Egwene channels again, lightning killing a Torakan outside. Adalorna recognizes Vora's Sa'angreal in her hand, so the Sa'angreal has a name. She walks over to Egwene as she takes down another Torakan with lightning and asks, what if they were carrying captives? You're just killing them. And Egwene's like, they're better off dead. Egwene backs away and gives orders to her novice troops. Two of them run up to watch through the hole in the wall and report if they see anything. The other two have to run off with the captured Damane. And they just go like, yes, mother. And she's got them well organized. Adalorna uses this moment to try and take command. Egwene has done well, but now a real Aes Sedai is here, and Egwene just stares her down. She's like, ugh. Stops her mid-sentence. She says, I am in command, and you will call me mother. You'll give me penance later, but for now my command must be unquestioned. Is that clear? Yes, mother. Immediately, without thought. She tells Egwene about her warders, and Egwene is impressed with her resilience. She's like, not God. She says, light woman, how can you stand here still with all that's happened to you? And her look of respect makes Adalorna swell with pride and stand up straight. And she's like, why does this novice's look make me feel so good? Egwene gives her an update. They've saved 6 Aes Sedai. No green so far, so she's happy to have Adalorna. And they are having trouble keeping the Seanchan bottled, at the eastern stairwell. She's like, gives her instructions on how to remove collars, but suggests it's easier and safer to just kill the Damane. Like, if you can take the collar off, but option 1, just kill him. You are familiar with, she's like, are you familiar with the tower's Ungreal storerooms? And she's like, yes, very. And she's like, good. Weaves a gateway to the storeroom. So she tells one of the novices to go tell the others to hold their positions, that they'll be back soon with more Ungreal. She tells Adalorna that she had never shown her traveling, but now Elida has been teaching other Aes Sedai. She's heard she is sharing this information, and it's safe to assume that the Seanchan have captured some of those, and that they now know traveling. The cat is out of the bag. They need to stop the Seanchan from escaping and try to prevent Eddie from getting back to Ibudar with the knowledge of how to travel. This is priority number 1. Adalorna is stunned by Egwene and asks her why she didn't flee when she had the chance. And she's like, flee? I would have been abandoning you, not fleeing you. I am the Amberlin seat. My place is here. Come. enough talk. I intend to see that they lose more Damane than they gain in Aes Sedai. And that's how the chapter ends.
Ooh, Nelly.
Whoa, nala, nala.
It's not over. It's not over yet.
It's
Still
not
more
over.
to come. But you guys will have to wait.
Cliffhanger.
My initial reaction to this, like, basically this passage ending in the middle of this,
Yeah.
or in this episode, and then having to be split over two. My initial reaction was like, "Oh man!" But then I thought, "No, cool. So we could spread it out over even more time and just keep talking about it next time."
Cliffhangers towards the end of the season.
Yes, but man, how cool, Vil! What did you want to call out there?
Bella. Yay! Bella's back.
Bella! There you go.
Wow. Wow. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's a goosebumps all over, just Jody going through
Despite
it. Like
the fact that it has like Swan and Gowan stuff sprinkled in between it, it's still great.
It is.
Yeah.
I get the way that it's written, sort of this different perspectives of how it's happening, and it seems to be a bit of a style change in the writing with Brandon Sanderson,
For
that
action,
you're not sort of
yes.
locked into one person's perspective through it, and like in these moments that you're getting more points of views, which is really good. I like that. It's like, I mean, the minute it switches over to Swan, and I'm like, oh fuck, come on, man, like just leave me with Egwene and let me just have this. But we get to have all of that, and Egwene standing up on that rubble, like engulfed in a halo of power, just kicking ass and taking names. Forget the names, I'm just kicking ass right now. It's like, oh, this Torok, and out you go, no more Torok, and people
Dead.
Out you
falling to the
go.
ground. It is
But
so
like, yeah,
good.
the precision of her weaves as well. She's undoing the Adam while incinerating the Suldam and looking out the window and barking orders. Like she's just in total
weaves.
control.
And again, likened to Rand and what Rand did at the manor. Just all these weaves that's just going on, like, this is a channeler. This is what we need to do for the last battle. Not this shit that you guys are doing. Fucking make orbs of light and juggle with it. That's not what we're supposed to do.
Here's the Captain General of the Greens running around like a headless chicken, like not really knowing what to do or what to do. Yeah.
She says one of the lines is like, battle Aja indeed. Like,
Acknowledges like,
when you see the Damane or the battle Aja.
you have someone that warns you that there's an attack coming on your base.
Yeah.
You have intel. And then whether you believe it or not, whether it's credible or not, you go, okay, what if...
Double the guard,
like,
something.
Cool, let's do
If something
something.
had to happen.
If it had to happen, what should we be doing? Okay, they have they use the power. So what do we should maybe put up some wards. That would be great. You know, Battle Archer, good thinking. Why don't you put up some magical wards and help us? No.
I wonder what it would take to weave a shield around the whole tower.
It would take a circle of 13 and Vorus Ungril.
Could you tie it off?
I don't think
And
so.
Glandor.
based on nothing. You just can't, Moritz.
That Vorus Ungril is the same one they use in Matt's healing.
Oh,
The
yeah?
dagger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think it's the power.
Also in a
powerful
circle,
shit.
a linked circle. Yeah, so loads of power used. What else, Vil? Anything else you want to talk about there?
This
Swan and Gareth get married.
no, they bond. They don't get
Well,
married.
they bond. I mean, sorry,
Yeah,
not married.
it's like,
but
what? I just
It's
skipped over that
implied
completely.
in the
You
other
missed
thing
the,
that he
you missed
that he
the
wants.
wedding. The
Yeah.
Bella
No,
wrote them
but,
in on. She was sitting in the,
The
back.
second condition,
But they are
which
bonded.
we don't.
Yes. And yes, he's like, holy shit, how cool is this? Which is also a cool moment. But that goes to Min's viewing as well. If she needs to stick to him, otherwise they both die. And
Yes.
again, we'll get there now in 2 weeks' time. But
Mm-hmm.
fuck, man, this is just Egwene we started off this evening with Egwene in a box.
Yeah.
And we end this evening with engulfed in light, shooting lightning and bolts and
Yes.
thunder, and freeing Damane. If they want to cower, cool. If they don't, kill them, burn them. Doesn't matter. Like, and
Yeah.
it's kind of reminiscent of Rand breaking out of the box, just stilling Aes Sedai around him, and just fucking all hell breaking
Yeah, like you
loose
said, kicking ass and taking names.
with rolling wave of earth and fucking thunder or whatever it is, with Ashaman just
Fucking
channeling
thunder.
shit. Like, this is that moment, just almost Dumas Wells almost all over again, to the premise, to the setup. Like,
Rolling ring of earth and fire.
that's
I believe
it.
it was.
Rolling
it.
ring of earth and
That's it.
fire. Yeah, just insane. It is just
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Okay. What else did I have in here for me to put to you two? It was cool with Swan recognizing Egwene's skills, because she thinks it wasn't uncommon for people to be woken up while dreaming, but most people weren't Egwene. She was a master of the world of dreams. And I wondered, like, what would Amis say of this? Because she does still catch her in the full plate mail armor and stuff, you know. She does still have her little slip-ups. But, I mean, she's had a lot of practice. Just cool to see Swan.
She's caught Amis plenty of times, dressed in Candasaur with spears in her hands.
It's true.
So
The first time she saw her in the world of dreams,
Yeah.
which she was in Carnival
Yes.
hunting a
She was
lion.
maiden.
hunting a lion or something. Yeah. Yeah. So you can't judge me.
You sort of hinted at this before, Joe. A couple of things that sort of make Egwene sound Verin. You know, like the way Adlorna behaves around it. And I know that it's written in the way that it's supposed to be interpreted as Egwene is just so in control and so obviously in charge of the situation that people fall into line because they understand without even thinking about it. They just know, yes, if I follow this person now, that is going to be the best course of action. Let me just do what they say. You know, like that sort of just happens. It happened a bit earlier as well when Seren was walking with Egwene. Egwene also like tells her, do you want to be in charge? And she goes, oh, heavens no. She's like, well, then stop standing in my way. Go do what I say. And Seren's like, yes, mother, you know, like nods her head and walks off. And she's that old sitter. So like, there's,
I think we don't have to harp on the Verin thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not that we're
not.
harping, but
No.
it's two things can be right at the same time. One being that Egwene is just showing immense ability in leadership, like the fundamentals of leading a group of people in the right direction. And
Absolutely.
that
I mean,
everyone in that tower, as Cat Swains say, is just shit ass. Like, they are so caught
sucks.
up in politics and rulers and raking in money. Like, the truth, look at the battle general of the Green Archer. I should run.
yeah.
Useless.
Useless.
So it doesn't take it to Verin in this instance to take them. It just takes Egwene.
I'm not going to sit here and say I think Egwene is Verin. It's just since that was raised like so long ago, whenever these things happen, they do kind of stand out. Because this next one is not because of Egwene's organizational skills or anything. It's when Swan says, I'm going to get her out. She surprises herself when she says it. And she's nowhere near Egwene in that moment, you know. But she makes this knee-jerk reaction that surprises herself when she says it.
I think
so. Just this is another little hello, look.
For me,
maybe
this gives Egwene even more of a like tip the hat. Like, you're doing this by not being Verin. Like, there's more G in that.
Yeah, it's harder for her.
Like
she doesn't have some magic plot thing like just working for her.
When Rand was kicking ass there at the manor house. But Rand has Lews Therin giving him all that knowledge, whereas Egwene kicking ass here, that's all her own knowledge. Sure, she learnt it from other people. She was a student, but she had to learn it. It doesn't just come out of her.
And her skill at like multiple weaves at the same time that we saw her do, like when she was fork rooted in the class where they accepted and made all the lights dance, like in this, like, and then repeated it like 3 or 4 times, this intricate weave, you know, like it's well established that she is good. Like you said, Joe, that's her learnt experience. That's not some inherited skill from a past lifetime or anything. So yeah, she's definitely kicking ass. What else did we have here? It's just cool that when the novices, when they see Egwene, they're like, oh, the Amelin, you know, like they're immediately on board. And when Egwene says to them, I will protect you, I promise. And the comment about like, I'm going to make sure the demonic can't have you. You're mine. You know, I just love the ownership and loyalty that Egwene and the novices have at this stage, with Nicola being like her biggest fan and stuff as well. Like she's got a whole squad there rooting for her.
Her biggest advocate, like running around like, preaching the gospel of Egwene to the other novices.
When they make the gateway to the storeroom and she grabs Vora's Ungril or whatever it is, the fluted rod, she turns and she has a big smile on her face and she says to the novice, now we ready. And I was just like, fuck yeah, Egwene. she's not even like worried or serious. She's literally smiling, holding this thing going.
Oh, they got a cock now. Let's go.
Ooh, here it comes. So good. Then I had some comments about Adalorna, but we don't have to talk about those. She didn't really feature much there at all. So, with all of my ramblings out of the way, did you guys pick a favorite moment?
Before we get to
I
favorite
forgot.
moments, we need to analyze something. Go back to right to the start
Oh yes.
of this.
Oh no,
Who-
just all over.
Are the 2 most stubborn Aes Sedai?
Oh, you wanted to talk
the
about Cadswain?
hardest asked 2 Aes Sedai that you just
Swan and Cadswain.
Nynaeve and Cadswain. No one is more
yeah.
stubborn than
Huh.
Nynaeve. Like
Your opinion is wrong, Moritz.
Yes.
Swan, no, Nynaeve. Like by a long shot. I'd say number 1 is
Okay.
Nynaeve in all of this, and Cadswain for me is number 2.
Uh-huh.
Where are you going with this?
This moment where Nynaeve leaves Rand, like he's gone too far, we need to go to Cadswain, pulls in with him. Cadswain has already had her moment of submission to the wise ones, where she says, I made a mistake. She walks in on Cadswain sitting on the floor. That's huge. She's not sitting on a chair. She's always sitting on chairs. She sits on the floor with the wise ones, and Nynaeve makes an oath, or not an oath. I promise I will obey.
Yeah.
That is the Rand effect. Now Rand
Oh, this is
as him and them, because both of them are with him this whole time through, that finally it's like broken them into like, we have to do this differently. That's why I was like,
so much joy on
Cadswain
Billy's face.
is as hard as Nynaeve, as strong as Nynaeve, not in the power, but there's a lot in her. But even she
resolve.
needed to be broken to that, her own breaking, not physical breaking or like sort of a breaking of will,
No, more
but
pride.
just the sort of like breaking of my pride to
And later on,
build
they're better
on
off for
this.
it.
And yeah, both of them.
They needed
Yes,
this
They need
moment.
this. And that is
Everybody take notes, right? You're better off for it if you can let go of your pride.
yeah, completely.
We've just discovered something now that no one has before, guys.
By Jove, I
Revolutionary.
think he's done it. He's figured it out.
Spread the word.
No, it's just like it was very interesting for me how this is written so closely together, because we have all of these absolute breakthroughs in all of the different protagonists. Like everyone's having their breakthroughs like back to back to back to back. We've got Mat.
It's not an acts of desperation at this point in the game.
No, and then and then we end this book, and it's like this pinnacle on a mountain, and it's like it's just like
That's going to be cool when we get there. I'm
Yes.
excited.
So it's like it feels that it would be like it breaks from where all of these pinnacles go towards the final battle. If we're still hopping on it, like it's just like, but I needed to see Nynaeve. Like it's more than this. It's like it's more than Nynaeve. It's more than
Yeah, it's bigger
Cat's
than your ego
They
and
have
all
to
that shit.
look
Yeah.
also like, okay,
And you're right. Like, I mean, Rand is prophesied to like break the world, the people. He's supposed to bring chaos. He's breaking the Aiel. So like his Teveran nature and his very presence, like breaking those stereotypes and those long-held beliefs from Nynaeve and Catswain that they're always right and that they're better than everyone, they know better. Then, you know, that all fits that theme. That's a very cool moment. Would you say it was your favorite moment?
no, lol.
So,
Wait,
okay.
like,
Should I ask?
okay, do it? No,
Everyone
we don't need
knows.
to.
And we're going to
Is
say it all
it-
together on 3.
Yes.
Let's clap to single it. Yes.
We're all going to say it together. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Egwene
Ella.
standing on the rubble. Holding.
Yes, Egwene standing on the rubble. Fucking.
It's
Of
such a
course,
cool
standing on the
image. Like you said, like because Adalorna's looking at her, so she can see obviously the glow of the power. She's linked and she's holding this thing, so she's channeling so much that she is looking like this bright like beacon. And then also like her long brown hair is like blowing in the wind, coming in
Yes.
through the hole in the tower, so it's like all like wild around her, and she can sense all this power.
Super
And she's
Saiyan.
and she's dressed in white, isn't she? She'd be in a
Yeah.
novice
She's
dress
still
that was in a
novice
room.
dress.
Yeah.
So she's white, she's clad in white, she's shining white, holding this white wand and just fucking with this like dark brown hair blowing around in the wind. It is such an awesome picture. And then just immediately again, like we just said, orders everyone around, makes Adalorna fall in place. Like, you will call me, you will do a penance later. Right now, shut up and listen. Okay?
Yeah.
This is
My
show.
command must be unquestioned. Understand?
Yes.
Yes, mother. Like,
So
not even a. No.
So good. Okay, so then should I ask, do you guys have any honorable mentions?
Yes, I do have honorable
Plenty.
mentions.
Shoot.
Swan.
Verin,
And Gareth.
Sedai.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Verin.
I was so much. I'd already forgotten about
This is
so much other stuff happened.
it's almost because it is such a big event in terms of ridding the tower of a cancer. It's so huge that handing over, here's 2 books for you, go fuck shit up.
yeah.
Like playing
Is the
into-
key that unlocks everything. Here you go. Shoops.
Yeah, that's if we didn't start with the tower shakes in this and we stopped at that would have been the moment. That would have been
Yeah,
everything.
for sure.
Just blending it
I
into
feel
this
like-
chapter it overshadows it quite significantly. But
it does.
it's not played down.
Just from the visuals.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
just from the sheer asking.
Theirs is a quiet conversation over a cup of poison tea.
Yes.
You know, like, and then the other scene is this like effectively dragons flying around a tower, blasting holes and like, you know, huge spells and stuff. I will say that I find that the Verin reveal and moment for me is somewhat dulled these days because we've actually spoken about it so much. You know, like we're so super aware of it and it comes up so often, which is just another testament to how important it is. It's like it is a really big deal. When I read it, I was almost like, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, okay, now Egwene knows too.
When it's like,
Were you?
I knew not.
Well, I guess
because
you've
I was
never
just
read
like,
this.
I was just like, okay, I know this is coming, but at that moment, like, there's Verin. I'm like,
Oh, this is happening.
here it comes. Here we go.
Yeah.
I did not see it coming this soon. I didn't realize. It surprised me in that way.
I also thought it was soon. Like I thought maybe in the next book, the penultimate book, I thought.
Yeah, because she's just with Mat in the previous chapter.
Yeah.
And then she's in the tower. Because I'm obviously with traveling now, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
But just story-wise, I wasn't expecting her to turn up then and there, right?
It's 2 chapters in quick succession in which Verin's whole shit is just wrapped up. You know, like this whole journey we've been on with her.
Yeah, what's in her note? Is her note that she gave to Mat also related to her being Black Aja? I suppose not. What good will it do Mat?
I feel she says to Egwene something along the lines, I don't know, Billy, you've got a knowing smile on your face. Have you read what's in the contents of that? Oh, no, you said earlier that you haven't read it yet.
Halfway through, oh gosh,
Towers of Midnight.
Hours of Midnight. It's still not. Mat is still dealing with golams and shit.
I feel like, oh, that's cool shit. I feel like when Verin is explaining to Egwene about thinking of maybe using the Oath Rod, she had a couple of things that she still kind of wanted to take care of or something. So I think this whole timing of Mat's letter is Mat, she wanted to get the stuff over to Egwene and maybe divulge all the secrets and all that sort of stuff and then come back to Camelin to get the letter from Mat. But it's obviously got some kind of instruction for him that she only wants him to execute if she's not successful in handing over the Black Archer names or meeting up with Egwene, or because there was no guarantee that she could actually spend time with Egwene, like see her face to face.
Yeah, Egwene might have still been in a box.
Yeah, so big pin in that letter. I can't remember what's in it, and I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to wait until it's revealed.
Yeah. Well.
Any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, like I mentioned Tuon and Gareth.
Yeah.
Bonding each other.
I mean, there was so much like connection in that I had previously misspoken and said they got married, because that's how close that, like, and inevitable that whole bond feels to me. I'd mentioned mine earlier about Mat finally seeing through Verin's mask, and her sort of like giving him a knowing smile, knowing that he knows and has realized. And the other one, I had one more, which was the introduction, or the first time you see the Bloodknives. Because I'm a sucker for a badass
before the Empress
warrior. Okay, then we had some listener favorite moments. Levi Wagner actually sent in a longer message than I'd read out before, and it ended in his favorite moment, but it's all related, so I'll put it all here at the end for us to listen to. He said, "Hi guys, reading through the end of Gathering Storm, and wow, this book is hard to put down once Verin shows up in the tower. I think I got ahead on my reading versus the podcast, so use this email or not whenever it makes sense to you guys. Verin's death was a huge shock to me. I really thought that was later in the series and there was more of a build-up to the death. But no, we have not seen Verin since the massive attack on Rand at Lord Elgaren's estate in Tyr. She shows up in the middle of nowhere for a quick odd chapter with Mat, and then she's in the tower and dead. Now I know why I felt like Verin just disappeared towards the end of the series. I loved seeing some quick Black Archer deaths and Egwene doing what needs to be done. Favorite moment is Verin turning on the Dark One after her and her Black Archer sisters. Also enjoyed Verin and what a gift she gave Egwene." That's it, Levi. I mean, aligned with all of that. We just said a lot of that as well.
There's a lot of executions coming very quickly.
Yes, in our next couple chapters, yes. Heads will roll. One more little contribution here. Would you believe it? Scott Wilson, who sent in so many messages, sent in another voice message. And that one goes like this.
Hey guys, Scott Wilson here. My favorite moment from this last section has got to be Verin the Rockstar. That's all I wanted to say. Have a good one. Bye.
Verin the Rockstar, for sure.
Quite. Verin the Rockstar. I mean, just like Villy was saying, for him, if this tower scene wasn't in there, it would have been the Verin moment. But for Scott, even with the tower scene, it's like, no, the Verin reveal. And it is so important. All right, so to our other listeners, send us your favorite moments, send us your crazy theories, your insightful observations, or just bash Gavin. You can do any of those via the social media links in the episode description, or go straight to our website at bloodandashespodcast.com, where you can leave a text or voice message and even buy a Blood and Ashes t-shirt or hoodie. Please also rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so we can bring our special brand of Wheel of Time flavored charm to the masses. When you've done all of that, get comfy. When you've done all of that, get comfy with your copy of The Gathering Storm so you can prepare for next time on Blood and Ashes, when we will cover chapters 41 through 44. 41 being a fount of power. Oh yeah. And then back to more mundane matters in Before the Stone of Tyr, Sealed to the Flame, and Scents Unknown. Oh, good stuff. Serious cliffhanger.
Oof.
let's not
getting
let's not dwell on this goodbye for too
such-
long. Then,
No.
Such good things.
oh, it's good shit. Okay, so let's sign off so we can get to the good shit. So to you guys and all our listeners, I'll say sleep well and wake.
There can be only one.
That would be me.